tournament circuit that's dedicated to growing the competitive women's gaming scene here in this region. Sponsored by Intel, supported by Yahoo, we are in the middle of day 2, and we just watched Alter Ego take the series 2-0 against Renatus White. I'm back here, I'm Tanya May, live from Singapore, and illuminating the desk this evening is once again Illustrado.
that that gave, excuse me, a little bit of a technical issue there. So yeah, thank you for the welcome, and a little bit of a surprise here. What we saw in that previous game, Alter Ego Celeste coming up big in 2 maps up against Renatus White. Such a fantastic performance from them. Nobody really missing a beat, and just goes to show that the better team and still the best team right now in the entirety of FSL, Alter Ego Celeste.
And just to recap, the first map they were on Breeze, where they won 13-5. Now, Renatus was the one who actually chose the map, but I think Alter Ego really did something smart and they chose defense, because if you look at Renatus' teamwork issues, maybe not as sharp on the offensive. So AAC deciding that they will take defense first, I thought was really smart, and they managed to get it rolling on the defense side. And honestly, the moment that you see AE Celeste push out on defense, you know that they got the tempo, they're gonna get it rolling, they are on fire.
I think the most salient point to take away from Breeze is how Alter Ego Celeste is just so good at taking map control where they absolutely need to. When they needed to take a push on towards A main, towards cave, or towards mid time and time again, they were able to. Whether by just one person alone, whether that was Ayumi with an operator taking aggressive peaks, or whether it was a concerted effort from everybody on their squad, they were truly able to capitalize on every opportunity given to them, presented to them by the squad of, Renatus White.
And Margot was really the one that stood out, whether she got MVP or not. I mean, the fact that she used her Viper's Pit every time that Renatus was just outside, like somehow they managed to read where Renatus was going to attack, and that Viper's Pit was just in their face. Like, she didn't miss a beat, it's not like they were on the other side and she used Viper's Pit. Like, somehow Alter Ego know. How do they do that?
It's a 50-50 gamble at that point, right? Whether you're going to put on A or B. What's interesting is how they're able to hold on to it even after the push comes in from Renatus White and actually does manage to take down the Viper's Pit. We saw that very much in one of those rounds where the Viper's Pit goes down early on top of the beautiful usage of ultimates, the Seekers and the Hunter's Fury. But even after losing the Viper's Pit, even after losing the sole defender onto that B site, the crossfires were immediately set up and the flanks were immediately deployed by the side of Alter Ego Celeste. And just goes to show how responsive a team like Celeste can be and how dominant they can be on their defensive side.
Yeah, absolutely. And even though Renatus found themselves in a 4v5, they had the confidence, they thought they could go in and take the site, but Margot with the off angles, the Rather with the off angles, and they're always so good at trading. They never really let anyone die in vain.
Yeah, never. There's just the amount of, this how quick that they can trade off of each other, how quick they can play off of each other. Even if one goes down, they know that the sacrifice won't be in vain because there's someone right behind whoever it is to make that trade off just so possible. And it really puts a hamper in the plans of anything that Renatus White tried, especially when we talk about Split. Because in a map like Split, the crossfires are just that much more easy to set up because of how compact the map structure is made. And every single time that there is a push coming in from Renatus White, they lose one, sure, but the trade-off is just as quick, just as immediate, and the sense of urgency from the side of from Alter Ego Celeste never really fell apart, even on those eco rounds where they could have let their guard down. No, it was never the case. They were always on point. They were always on form.
Yeah, you never really feel any sense of urgency or anxiousness when it comes to Alter Ego, even though they might have lost 2 rounds in a row. As what you say, I feel like they are giving us a masterclass on timing, because on Split, if you notice and you watch Alter Ego play, whether it's Split or any map really, they don't rotate. They commit 3-2 and they will play it out really slowly, especially on this second map on Split where they didn't even have a duelist. Like, who does that?
Okay, I just think that the no duelist composition right there from Alter Ego Celeste, it really started to shine and let their playstyle shine through, because one of the things that Alter Ego Celeste does better than any team out there is gathering information and denying that information from the enemy team. So they utilize what information that they can, take it and synthesize that in the middle of the round and come out with a formula that allows them to win the rest of the round here. The information, the slow play, the sentinels that they had on their squad just exacerbated this and allowed us a perfect glimpse on what it's like in the thought process of how Alter Ego Celeste really start to structure their rounds. And it really was a masterclass on how, even without a duelist, they can outperform and still outgun the opponents, whether it's dry peeking or not.
Yeah, it's really down to the gunfights where you don't have a duelist to go in and clear the angles or take the space from the side. What Alter Ego Celeste did was really wait in the smokes. I mean, we saw multiple highlights where they use the enemy utility and the enemy smokes to their advantage even. They're just hiding there, waiting for the exact timing where they can double swing or double peek.
I think the best example of that, Tanya, would be like that hold from Margot towards that B site over onto Breeze when she hid behind the opponent's Viper wall and then swung out
Yeah.
and get like 2 kills right after that.
So beautiful to watch. And that's it. Alter Ego will be advancing to the semifinals of the upper bracket. Now, moving down to the lower bracket, which is the next series that we have today, it's going to be Wildfire Sphinx against Hashira. Both of these teams, which we saw on the stream yesterday. Wildfire Sphinx is the one with our streamer team. Oh, wait, we're going to go to Hashira first. From the Philippines, I think Illustrator, you know them better than anyone.
I mean, yeah, sure. I've had a little bit of experience with this team, and I've definitely seen a lot of their games over the past few months here. They are a team that has been put up fairly recently, and I've had the benefit of actually witnessing a lot of the games when they were starting out and sort of keeping track over them and their growth over the course of the past couple of opens here. This is a team that is definitely on the rise. This is a team that can very much turn the tables and surprise everybody when things fall in line. However, they have been struggling, and especially yesterday, as they went up against Renatus White, a lot of their plays, a lot of their executes were, I wouldn't say lackluster, but they failed in terms of the execution of those.
Yeah, I remember Envious on Split getting a lot of 3Ks on three separate different routes against Hashira, so they do have a lot of to prove going into this matchup against Wildfire Sphinx, where some of these women aren't even FPS mains. They actually changed games from MOBAs, and they are rising here at the top because previous opens they barely got out of groups or they finished third, I believe, and now they are here in the playoffs. And the thing is that when you go up against Alter Ego yesterday and that's your first opponent, I think it doesn't really show what Wildfire Sphinx can do. Like they were really pushed to the limit and they haven't showed their potential, which is why this matchup I think will be something that both teams like really want to prove themselves.
I think you hit the nail right on the head there, because this is a matchup that both of these teams have a lot to prove. If a team like Wildfire Sphinx can prove themselves up against an upcoming team like Hashira, who is working their way up the ranks, then this is a very much big opportunity for Wildfire Sphinx to legitimize themselves, I'd say, in the pro scene and really start having people consider them as very much contenders. Now with Hashira, they need to win this game to prove to everybody that they're not here by chance, that they've been here and they've been in the playoff a couple of times already because they can dominate. So this needs to be a very clean win, a very decisive and a very important win for Hashira right now, especially after they took a very crushing defeat against Renatus White yesterday.
Yeah, and they will be starting off on Ascent, which is a very popular map here in FSL Opens. No matter which one you look at, a lot of teams love this map. And I think it's also Alter Ego that set a textbook example in a way because they are perfect on that map. And a lot of teams tend to look up to them and see, okay, wow, you can play out Ascent this way on attack and on defense. So it's very interesting that teams leaned into it. And of course, going into the second map, it's going to be Breeze. So very excited to see what these teams can do because according to Hashira, they actually think Breeze is a great map for them. They like the aim duels and retakes and post plants. So we expect a lot of creativity coming out from both of these teams.
Actually, this is a really good map pick for Hashira. These are like literally. Um, I think I think only a couple of the players on Hashira are not really comfortable with Breeze, but for the most part, this is some of their more successful maps.
Mm.
On Hashira's side, their Ascent is a 67% win rate. Icebox they have a 57, and Breeze is a 60% win rate. So these
Mm.
are actually the best maps for Hashira right now. They have yet to win a map on Bind and Haven, the two remaining maps, and they're not doing so well on Split. So I think this is quite frankly the best outcome that Hashira could have wanted in this entire map ban process.
And they are going to be starting out on the defense side on Ascent, which I think might be a bit more comfortable looking at how they were playing out yesterday against Renatus, where uh, during attack, they were going in one by one. The execution was not as perfect as they wanted it to be. So I think we are going to expect them to try and get as many rounds on defense, on Ascent, and then really play to their strengths on Breeze.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, I've got to sign off because the master is already waiting in the wings, looking to take my job. Okay, you can fine. Yeah, go ahead. I will be waiting and watching from the sidelines and cheering you guys on. But again, thanks for having me. I'm going to be signing off for the day, and Tanya, I will leave it all up to you.
Yeah, absolutely. So to take us through the next series between Wildfire, Sphinx, and Hashira, we have Kentrol, Hey, I'm Quack, and Let It Omo take it away.
And proof. Here we are. Hey, what's up, Omo? We're not taking your jobs. We're just taking over for a little bit. We're going to see you tomorrow as well. But you know what? Here to bring you through this very first game between WFX and Hashira. It's going to be me, Ham Quack, and Omo. How are you feeling today, man? Like, what do you think about the very first game that's going to unfold? It's Ascent. I'm not quite sure what to think because these two teams, they're kind of wild cards for me.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't really seen too much from either of these teams. Like the analyst desk mentioned earlier, Hashira has a little bit more experience than Wildfire Sphinx. But with that said, I mean, both of these teams are coming into this lower bracket match, coming off of very punishing 0-2 losses in the upper bracket. So they're definitely looking to prove themselves. They're looking to prove like they deserve to be here, like we talked about earlier, like the analyst desk mentioned earlier on as well. So I feel like with that in mind, it's pretty much all or nothing for them. I feel like they're going to come in with all guns blazing, and they're not going to hold anything back. So it should be a very exciting one. They are, of course, fighting for their tournament lives as well, so that's always going to be fun to watch.
Exactly. When you're fighting for your tournament life, it's kind of like you get that extra urge to do even better than you normally will. So hopefully it will be an incredible performance. But that said, I really don't quite know what to expect. Like what Illustrato was talking about earlier, all these map picks, they're ones that Hashira are very, very familiar with, very comfortable. They've got pretty good win rates on every single one of them, which is why, like, for WFX, I think if I'm not wrong, they won the coin toss.
Yes, they
did. They didn't choose the maps that they played incredibly well on. I mean, like, you don't see them picking Split. They picked a set, and then of course banning something
Icebox?
like it's a bit of a question mark to me. Then again, haven't seen this team too much, but I expect good things.
I mean, we can only assume they have reasons for choosing these maps. Like we mentioned, this is, of course, maps that are the agent lineups looking pretty similar across the board. On the side of Hashira, though, I want to point out that they do have the Astra locked in.
Yeah, that's going to be very, very useful. But then again, it depends on how you place your stars and when you actually activate them. Just the fact that in astral form you gain this sort of global ability to be able to place stars and place smokes all across the map, it's going to be very, very effective. On the other side, though, that's the thing that I'm thinking about. WFX, who do they have as their controller? I mean, most of the times, I think Scherzinga is the one who plays the controller. She used to always go with Brimstone. Tries out a couple of different ones every now and then. This time, I think she's sticking to the Omen. So, could be useful, but then again, we'll have to see.
Yeah, Omen always going to be a very popular pick here at the FSL. Let's take a look at the lineups real quick. We have an Omen, Reyna, Sova, Killjoy, and a Raze on the side of WFX. So nothing too out of the ordinary. I think it's pretty much what we expected. Whereas on the side of Hashira, they're just swapping out the Omen for the Astra like you went into detail about. So I think it's pretty standard stuff across the board. Just looking for information mid is the key to Ascent.
Yeah, information mid, but aside from that, you got quite a bit of information on Hashira's side in towards B main as well. Very scary, almost met and kissed each
yeah.
other on the cheek, but instead WFX just gonna rotate all the way back towards top mid, maybe in towards A main.
Maybe in towards A main. Yeah, you're right. It looks like that's where they're headed right now with the spike. Shazinga still in mid, getting some control, smoking out mid doors, looking to cross over onto A shot here. It looks like the execute's gonna be coming in.
Hashira,
go for
I
blind.
mean, they're not giving up information, but they don't quite have information as well. So right now, WFX actually get A for free. The red carpet might as well have been rolled out for them. So they should be walking in pretty soon, get the spike planted. Full 5v5 on pistols.
Nice.
Marquis and I talked about this last month, and we don't really like this because when it comes down to the trades, if you lose your gunfights, that's going to be very disastrous. Japips, she's going to be the one to watch here. She's finding the first trade for Hashira, but here we go. Already have the post-plant positions on site, and they are locking it down. Xerath with a quick double right now. Kiki from A main as well. It's been smoked off thanks to Plucky. Goes in, takes one more down, and all of a sudden, this is a 1v1 duel. Goes in for the peek, gets shut down. And of course, plucking your life away, it's going to be Plucky and taking the first pistol round, Hashira.
Yeah, a huge blood buff coming in the first round. If that's a sign of things to come, I'm excited for this series. 9 people just dropping right there like flies, and we do see, I believe that's going to be Hashira taking the first round. They do get bomb plant on the side of Wildfire Sphinx, but ultimately Hashira will come out on top in the pistol round. Yeah, like you mentioned, 5v5 to start things out on the pistol round is not really something we usually see, but since it was so chaotic, I think Hashira really thrived in that situation. They just came in, traded kills here and there, and ultimately managed to take that first round.
Yeah, and you gotta mention, I mean, you got players like Plucky, players like Japips, they had the ghosts and they were just that accurate. But here we go, it's gonna be round number 2 right now. They are holding on to these angles, they got, you know, maybe one frenzy, but then the Spectre just going in for that quick peek, left click and hold, the fadeaway headshot. And all of a sudden it's 4v5, and they're still thinking about going in for this. Kachow's gonna miss
nice
a
crossfire.
couple shots though. And it's Japips walking in just to secure the position even further.
Yeah, trading 2 for 1. Not too bad there on the side of Hashira. We see such an aggressive B main hold coming in from them, and this time it pays dividends. Nice frag from, oh, not quite the frag, but get some damage down onto Minji from Shazinga. Of course, both of these teams did buy after getting the spike planted on the side of WFX.
So, expect those all throughout. I don't know. They're gonna have to be very careful about this. It is a 2v3 after all. So with the numbers, you would think that WFX has this. I mean, Xerath is already calling the A side out clear. Spike is going to get planted. Question is, can Xerath actually cut them off on the rotate? She's letting them slip on purpose, I think.
Perfect timing.
Coming back in, she hears the footsteps, and then Kiki comes up huge, gets the first one. Key now back in towards Garden. She wants to find Xerath, but it's just not meant to be with the height vantage and the movement. She is going to be able to spray her down. So 1-1, the force buy pays off.
Not a bad round there coming in from the side of Wildfire Sphinx. They keep 3 of the Spectres alive as well, so the economy is going to be in a pretty good situation. Even if they do lose this round, they will be able to more or less do like a half buy, maybe a full buy on most of their players in the next one. So let's see if they're going to upgrade their guns across the board. We won't really see too many upgrades yet. Just going for the pistols. They're just on the half buy. They're just on the SMGs. That's fine for them right now.
Oh my god, but Kachao
okay,
with
what
the
do we
stinger,
see
though.
here?
What do you think, Omo? It's gonna be a bloodbath yet again as Shazinga and Xerath come up huge. They are just closing them in towards mid fountain.
Like lambs
this is
to the
another
slaughter.
graveyard. All the bodies litter across the floor.
Yeah, like lambs to the slaughter, we see the members of Hashira. They had a plan there, they had something in mind, they wanted to go for a bit of a cheesy play, we can give that to them, but a very solid hold from the side of WFX, make sure that they lose none of their Spectres across the board. We do see a Vandal being picked up from the Sova here. Other than that though, it's still going to be like a half buy situation going on, and that's kind of what we talked about last round as well. Economy is going to be good for WFX. If they win this round, they really start building on the economy.
It's kind of a weird thing from HSR though. I mean, we talked about WFX holding, but they're attacking. So
that's right.
Coming into the 4th round now with a couple of rifles in hand. This should be a little bit different, but let's see what HSR
Look
does.
at B main again. Okay, but hold that thought. We're just diving right in here.
Oh, space created.
Space has been created. They don't quite get the frags, but it's okay because they have full control of the side, and it's going to be a 5v5 once again.
Oh my god, same thing. Storm has been shot. But look at the positioning from HSR right now. Some of them are trying to wrap around the back from top mid. Still though, time is of the essence. At this point, they've got maybe about 30 seconds-ish left. They're trying to make their way in. They will be able to find one in form of Xerath. Going in, that's gonna be the flank coming up huge right now. Kachao with the headshot. And all of a sudden, you got to separate your forces, divide your attention, and then HSR comes in with the chaos. They climb the ladder, they take it. And of course, right now it's a 2-2.
Yeah, Chaos a little bit of a ladder there, and Hashira has been thriving every single time it's been a chaotic round. I think the unsung hero of that one is going to be Plucky. Did so much work with the Astra Stars, smoking out A main, as well as using the pull and the disorient to really get control of the site. I think the key to that round right there was the flank coming in from Kachao, because 2 members of WFX were stuck outside A main due to the smoke that we mentioned from Plucky, and that just let Kachao just really come in and clean them up from the back. Of course, economy from the side of WFX, not too bad. They will still get some rifles picked up. Yeah, actually, they do get full buys in. It's just 1 light armor, so it's not bad at all.
Key is the one that I want to look out for because she's the one with the Spectre right now. So maybe not the best thing, but you got to consider the past 2 wins that HSR got was when they played 5v5 retakes. It's kind of a weird thing, but they're making it work. They know how to dismantle the site. Okay. And right now, with control over B main, you gotta think, WFX, what are their options? They're in towards mid. Maybe not so much information. He is a little bit antsy, goes in for a bit of a peek, gets spotted out by Xerath. Now, Alarmbot getting shot out as well. I think WFX are reading this and they want to push in towards A. At the same time, though, Plucky just knows that Garden is the angle to watch.
Yeah, and Hashira, they're feeling so comfortable in these rounds. A lot of it is due to the fact that they're just pushing out B main every time. They're getting info, they're getting frags. If they're not getting clean kills, they're at least trading. And this gives them so much info. Every time the play comes into A, they're aware of it. It's just that they're choosing to give up the sides and play for the retake 5v5s, which, like we've seen, has been successful for them. And now it's going to be a 3v5. Rifle's still in the hands of the 3 remaining players on the side of WFX, so that's going to be a 4v3. They get 1.
Nice way to start things off, I guess, but still, the spike is towards A main. They got 20 seconds, and HSR are on their heels. They know it's an A hit. It's only a matter of time. 3v4 is still quite difficult. Depends on how they hold this. It looks like Clara wants to play post-plant with her shock dart. She does have both of them, so that could be doable, but Xerath instantly getting deleted, and then Luna drops as well. It's a 1v4, Omo. 1v4. What can Clara do?
She's just spraying, but they're spraying right back.
Ah! Okay.
Okay, gets 1.
Oh, pulls the planter off. Can she actually play time? Still gets the frag of the Kachao, but they already got it halfway.
Yeah, that helps a lot. And I mean, even if they didn't, I think they had enough time to defuse that one right there. But a lot of damage done from the Sova. That's not a bad round at all, considering that it was a 1v4. Declaration trying her best in that situation. Doesn't quite manage to find a round though.
Yeah, it's a nice, valiant effort, but this is what you're seeing from Hashira. I mean, the way that they're holding on defense, not giving up any information at all. In fact, they kind of just relinquish mid control. WFX, if you want to take mid, go for it, because they're just going to hide in towards places like Market, places like B main, and that is a very crucial one, because if you don't have B main, your only road to B is through Market. If not, deep in towards spawn, and what are you thinking there? It's so tough. So right now, a little bit of a jiggle from Kachao. She fires a shot, maybe a warning shot, but WFX still thinking about going into this. They only have pistol this time though.
Oh
but
boy.
Kachao going with the up trap, getting slapped down. Oh man.
A little bit ambitious there with the knives, going into the pistols, but she still gets taken down from the collateral damage there. And here we go, the push is coming in. Boombot goes in first. Pips. I thought she was trying to hide from it, but in the end does kill the Boombot.
Then she has to run for her life, getting burned by a nanoswarm as well, still able to survive. The rest of the team, though, from WFX, still adamant on making the push happen. Xerath is the only one on site. The spike is not there with her, but Sure, she's going to use her Shrouded
Ooh,
Steps
nice
to get
angle.
their way in. Xerath with the Ghost still able to do quite a bit of damage. Still, Spike finally will get planted. I think that's all they wanted, but right now, Xerath getting spotted out by Turret. I don't think they have much here.
Yeah, I was considering committing the lockdown, but I think that might be a bit overkill against 2 pistols. But then again,
What?
Xerath,
No.
2 HP.
Yeah. 2 HP. A Whisper and a couple of bullets from Key will kill her. And right now it's a 4-2. I mean, I think, you know, they did quite a bit of damage. They were on nothing but pistols. They deleted Kachao, who tried to Blade Storm against them. And the rest of the squad as well. I mean, once Xerath got into sight, she had her Ghost, she did quite a bit. I call that a win. You know, maybe not the round win, but in economy, they're able to bind to the next round, and that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's a good equal round. Honestly, they gave Hashira a little bit of a scare. You saw Key even considering using the lockdown right there. That's against 4 pistols. So definitely not a bad round at all. They do save 2 rifles on the side of Hashira. It could have been worse. Nice shot from Kachao to start things off.
Just the sound of that operator, and I don't know if you want to re-peek in towards mid. Sure, definitely feeling that fear is going to back up. But then she just goes back right into it, and Kachao, like Lightning McQueen, will just Kachao, and you're dead. Here we go.
I love
now.
that.
Get spotted out. What are you gonna do at this point? Kachao's nailing every shot.
Kachao is indeed nailing every shot, and they are going for the rotate back around to A for the side of Wildfire Sphinx. I don't believe Hashira are aware of this just yet, but there are 2 members watching A side, so I don't really know how successful this one is going to be. They're going to go give it their best shot, though.
Give it their best shot.
Oh, spotted out.
They get spotted
right
out.
away.
That's it.
That's it.
Oh, look at what Kachao's doing. Top mid right now.
Very nice angle. Kachao's been finding these flanks all day long. A couple of rounds so far, she's been able to get good angles, and here she is once again, making sure they can't retreat out of A. Declaration finds 1.
That's pretty nice from Clara. Shock Dart
yeah.
to flush her out of position. Now they push their way in. Kachao's just holding the angle, not quite pushing it just yet. But then, you got someone like
Shap
Japips
Pips.
holding the off angle from Garden. Double kill. 5th round win. WFX are just struggling to find an advantage here.
Yeah, they can't find an opening. When they look mid, they're getting shut down by Kachao with the operator. When they look to B main, they're getting shut down by 1 or 2 people pushing to B main, and they're just losing these duels. They haven't really tried to full execute towards A outside of the pistol round, and that was a round that they did actually almost win. Not quite win, but they got the plan down, and it was 1 man away from a win. So maybe they go back to what was working and just try to do an A execute again.
Maybe, but right now, I love what Kachao is doing. First she was mid, now she repositions, but she's gonna get tagged up. Nice placement of the turret will be able to stall her down as well. Xerath, though, looking to explode onto the side, gets denied by Kachao. That
Kachao gets him with the shotty as well, not even the operator.
Oh, man. Well, still, though, space created, maybe, I guess. Hunter's Fury getting deployed as well right now just to try to find something, but it doesn't quite connect. Spike will get planted. So 4v4, and WFX is actually kind of doable.
This is definitely a winnable round. We see Shazinga with the Omen ultimate as well, repositioning outside of B main. She's gonna get a bit of a flank here. If Kiki and the rest of WFX can hold down the fort, Shazinga's got a really nice angle. Ah, there we go. Okay. Doesn't quite work out. WFX, though, they do pick up the round. It's a bit messy. Shazinga on the flank didn't quite manage to find the 3K that she kind of was setting up for. But still, they do get the round, and that's what counts.
Yeah, that is what counts. I mean, that's why you got teammates. If Shazinga falls, you know, someone like Clara will be there to trade, and that's really what they need.
Definitely.
So maybe, you know, when they were trying to play a little bit more methodical, going through mid-control, stuff like that, it wasn't quite working out. But once Xerath just goes in with a quick double blast back into its stairs, yeah, they actually managed to get space created. Right now, back in towards the B execute, but Hashira just going with aggressive pushes through mid. They're able to destroy people in towards B lobby. And yeah, very embarrassing recon vault. But you know what? She's got the rifle. I still want to believe in Clara right now.
Yeah, she has the rifle. Declaration, last one standing yet again. 1v3 against the pistol.
Oh. Gonna have to wait a second for the spray to
Oh
recover.
boy. She's kinda
15
stuck.
HP. Do not push out. You got your spike. Oh my gosh, she actually gets the headshot, but Plucky
Nice try.
just comes in with a swing. She was waiting all day for that one, and she will get it.
Yeah, I didn't quite notice, but was Hashira on a full eco that round? Was it like a half buy round from them? Because they pushed out mid once again with pistols.
Sheriff's,
And they won.
And yeah, a little bit of a Spectre, and that's why it was a thrifty
Right.
win. They
Okay.
won indeed, and it's incredible. I mean,
I like that. I like that from
WFX.
Hashira. I like that the first time they tried it, they got slaughtered. I like that they didn't let that dissuade them, and they went for the cheesy push on mid once again. No, honestly, I think it takes a lot of guts to go for a play that you get 5 for 0, and you just run it back, and it works this time. So props to Hashira for sticking with their guns there.
very gutsy. But you know what? Xerath is another gutsy person as well.
Oh,
Going
yeah.
with the blast packs now, showstopper. But you know what? HSR, they've
clear.
played this situation before. 5v5, you want to go in explosive, they just let you walk in. The showstopper will not be able to find anyone. Sure, space is created. They get the spike down, but is that enough though? It's still a 5v5 retake, and this is something that HSR has shown that they're quite good at, but... Oh!
You hate to see it. It's a painful way to go. But so many ultimates committed here. Plucky with the Astra Divide as well to answer. Oh, Declaration is stuck. Xerath. Nice positioning.
One enemy remaining. Last player standing.
Damage has been done, and it's going to be Luna. Makes it a bit of a trade. Sheriff vs Plucky in a 1v1. Controller versus controller. And she's wrapping her way back around the lane. Plucky does not know where Shizinga is. Goes for the wall bang. At this point, it's just buying time.
Yeah, she's out
Plucky
of
wants
time.
to stick it, but she cannot do it anymore. Shizinga has done her job, and it's a 4-6. WFX starting to come back into the game.
WFX finding some very nice rounds when they go for these executes. I think the story of this map so far is when you're fighting mid, Hashira are gonna take it. When you're fighting in sides, when you're going for executes, when Xerath goes in quick and fast, gets control of the sides, that's when WFX has been having the most success, and hopefully they stick with that winning strategy.
Hopefully they do. I mean, Xerath has been paving the way for her team. In fact, the 2 kills that she got in that round were with frenzies. That's something that you don't quite see every day. You would think that the rifles would beat the frenzy, but you know what? When it's in the hands of someone like Xerath, it works. But here we go. Kachao back in with aggression in towards B main right now, trying to find a shot, but will not be able to connect. Xerath sees the danger, spots it, and calls it out to her team. Guys, let's not go B anymore because they're pushing out. Maybe just go with
Look how
full
far
send
out
in
they
towards
are out of
A.
B.
But they gotta worry about Plucky though.
Yep.
So here they go. Close the door. There's only one person in towards Hell, and they only have a sheriff. So Minji, I don't think she's gonna be able to survive this one. There she goes. Drops dead. Spike gets planted. 4v5 retake with pistols. What do you think, Omo?
It's not looking great. It's not looking great for sure. They might try to get 1 or 2 frags if they can even find it. Yeah, it's looking really rough to pick up anything this round. I say that, but Plucky gets the 1 tap.
1 tap. Immediately repositions. I thought it was going to be a flawless, but I guess not. Plucky says, "Fuck you." No.
The bullets are just
Alright,
following
she's
her
going back
everywhere
in.
she goes. It's so hard to play.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, she saw it, but the
Goodbye.
shock dart! Shock dart from Clara. And it just hits you square in the face. 5-6 right now,
Last round before
WFX.
the switch.
It's the last round before the switch, and HSR are going to come back in with full buy right now. If you're on WFX side, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking stick to what works. You know, every time we go directly into the site, we don't lose people at mid. We just win the round, or at least we get the plant down, and then we can play it from there. So just stick to what works. Use the Sova ultimate to clear out the back of sites if you need to, and then just commit to a site. Because Hashira have shown like their defense strategy is kind of a double-edged sword. They're willing to give up the site and play for retakes. But when they give up the sites, then it's kind of hard to play for retakes, isn't it? Right? So there's a lot really going on in these situations. They push up very aggressively towards A right now, and they're giving up B. Unfortunately for them, that looks like where WFX are looking this round.
That's right, there's quite a bit to think about, but right now, the positioning from Kachao, the rest of the squad of WFX in towards mid, if they want to make this round work, they have to either make a commitment in towards A short or B main, and they've got 3 players in towards Plucky right now. In fact, one of them is going to get sucked, and then the shock dart comes in. Xerath had no idea what hit her. Still, though, they are holding that position. I don't know if that's the right call.
Yeah, I mean, this is
kind of
exactly what
open.
we talked about, right? Don't play it to mid. What has been working for you? Executing on sites. And Kiki, yeah,
Oh,
getting punished. A bit greedy there.
had the Empress as well, and right now Plucky just making sure that the door doesn't stand between her and her team. But WFX, now that they want to go into B, it's a little bit too late.
Oh, they got
He's
30
already
seconds.
fully
30
aware of
seconds
this.
They're running this clock for sure. 30 seconds. I don't really know if they can get in. He has a really nice position right now. But they have to go. There's no time to go back to A. It's all or nothing right now. Clearing out market.
Oh no.
You just have no time if you want to execute on the side against a Sentinel, against that Killjoy. You need to go early so you can bait out the util. 1v4. Lockdown.
Luna, is she gonna shine or is she gonna drop?
Okay.
She finds 2 quick headshots, but then Key comes in from the side. Oh my god, 5-7 at the end of that. Not too bad, but it's just not quite enough, and that's why stick to what works, right, Omo?
Yeah, stick to what works. I mean, we kind of mentioned, right? Every time you guys try too hard towards mid on the side of WFX, they kind of just get punished. The fragging power from Hashira is good on that front. They just need to exploit the way Hashira are playing defense, basically. I mean, I don't want to give too much away, but like, we have God view, right? We can see how Hashira are playing every single round. They will just push out one side and give up the other side. So if you execute and you punish their push, or you punish their weak side of the map, there's just so much ground that you can take away. However, that doesn't quite matter anymore in this map. We're gonna be swapping sides up, and let's see how this one plays out with Hashira on offense. Might suit them a little bit more with how aggressive they've been playing.
Perhaps. Well, it certainly looks like they want to make a quick, maybe B split happen. Meanwhile, taking a look at what WFX has got, Scherzinger is going to be the one up towards mid, maybe supported by Kiki. That's making me a little bit cautious, though. Kachao gonna get body blocked as she tries to tailwind towards the side, but right now, a lot of space being created up towards mid. The B split is happening in full effect. Can Clara actually hold this fort? She's trying to make it happen, going in for the taps, but can't quite connect it. Kiki, on the other hand, though, making a quick double kill happen. Right now, Clara doing whatever she can, able to take a headshot as Plucky drops down. Not too bad. It's still a 3v2 though. The pistols have to tap away. All that's left, Japips gets shut down. Not even able to get the spike planted. So 6-7, and WFX want to claw this win back away from HSR.
A very close map for sure. They have guns right now. HSR did not get the plant like you mentioned, so they're not going to be able to buy up anything outside of just a couple of pistols here and there. So this is looking to be maybe tying up the map here for the side of Wildfire Sphinx.
Hopefully, but let's see what happens. I mean, they're going back in with the Spectres. Earlier in the first half, they were the ones who forced bot. This time, though, Hashira not doing much. So they're just going guns blazing, walking in towards mid. All of these footsteps are audible, but then Scherzinger getting caught with ability in hand. She's gonna get taken down. Spectre now upgraded for Kachao, but Clara is there to stop things as well, and she stalls just enough time for Sarah to come in from the back. That's Spawn. All of a sudden, they are stuck in towards the stairs of Market again, and then Seraph comes in with the swing. Quick double kill. What do you have for us, Minji? She's stuck in towards the boathouse, and she will not be able to find anything.
Yeah, that's a little bit unfortunate, and that's why you don't clump up in corners. It just makes the spray down so easy with these guns. It's going to be a bit unfortunate round there for Hashira. We do see the map being tied up right now, 7-7 across the board for both these teams. Yeah, here we go. I think we're going to take a look at the spray down once again. I don't want to be looking at it from this perspective, though. I want to look at it from Zero's perspective. This is a bit depressing, seeing the bodies just drop like flies right there. And that's going to be 7-7. We need to see if Hashira right now, they have the full buy. They have the guns. If they lose this round, economy is going to be really hard for them. So it's going to be a bit hard for them to try to pull back into this one.
I can't. No way. Look at WFX's buy. Clara and Scherzinger on Ghosts. The rest of the squad on Spectres. Surely the Rifles will win, but look at the setup that they've got on A.
In theory, the Rifles will win.
Yeah, I don't know about this one. A lot of information being starved on both sides. WFX has no real idea except for probably mid. Meanwhile, HSR, they don't see anything from WFX. They don't know where the Wildfire Sphinx players are, but right now they will. They see them on towards Garden. They take a little bit of damage, but then the swing comes in. It's just going to be HSR mowing them down with the Rifles right now. Control over site. Spike gets planted. 2v4. How does WFX play this?
I would say it's a bit hard to. The best case scenario for them here is to just try to find as many exit frags as they can, take away these Rifles from the members of Hashira, just punish your economy a little bit. The round is looking hard to win, but you just want to do as much monetary damage as you can.
Sarah's still trying to be careful about this though. Pachel's probably gave her position away, and then Minji just comes in all the way from hell. Quick headshot. HSR back 1 up against Wildfire Sphinx. 8-7. And it's not
Really
looking
good
too
round
bad,
from Hashira. You need to make sure you don't lose these Rifles on your first gun round because it just hurts you so much in terms of economy. But with that said, they do keep 4 Rifles, and I think one of them managed to buy for the one that dropped as well. So still a pretty good 4-buy setup coming in from the side of Hashira, and it's going to be the first 4-buy gun round for both of these teams.
Let's see what they've got. Wildfire Sphinx. Ooh, seems like they want to make a little bit of mid-aggression, and then Kiki. Oh my god, what a headshot.
Just pops
Top
out,
mid
takes the head off of Minji right there, and they will have basically full mid control right now. Gonna be pushing out as well. WFX, very aggressive here. Oh boy. They're gonna run into Key. They're gonna run into Plucky.
Page out of Hashira's playbook. Is it going to work though?
down.
Zarek is able
Plucky's
to
making
find
brick
Key,
for it.
and then Plucky gets caught out of position. The spike has been dropped. If you're Kachao and Japips right now, this is the worst possible thing that could happen because you're fully separated from your squad.
Yeah, a little bit caught out right now. Let's see what Hashira want to do right here. Japeeps and Kachao both solo as well. Or rather, Kachao is solo as well. This blind is going to be big though. I think it gets both. Oh, not quite. It was close.
Well, they're looking to make a play right now. Lear goes up. Shazinga gets caught. Looking to retrieve the spike, maybe 40 seconds, and then you got 2
Scary.
players just making an observational post right around this corner.
30 seconds
I
left.
don't think it's gonna work. Hashira walk into this, and then Declaration is just gonna be able to shoot them down. One gets traded. Zara comes in, gets the triple for herself on this round. 8-8. The sudden mid-aggression is actually able to catch them off guard.
Yeah, that was a very nice start to the round there from Kiki. Just pops out onto mid, gets the headshot, and that's always gonna make Ascent so easy to play. When you get these mid picks, Ascent just feels so easy, don't you feel, Kentrell? When you pick up people at mid, you just get control of the whole map because it gives you access to basically everywhere on the map. And with that, Wildfire Sphinx just really took control of that round and just ran it home.
That's exactly it. I mean, the fact that they were able to make that work is amazing, but you're starting to see what binds Hashira in the back. They are kind of getting a
Zareth.
little bit of control. What? Showstopper in towards Plucky. And just like that, you got no more smokes, no more cover for the rest of the round. Kachao wants revenge, but she gets taken down instead. It's a
One enemy
1v4
remaining.
right now as Shazinga takes Minji from mid, and then the quick flick from Kiki. Wildfire Sphinx, they're just going like fire very aggressively.
Yeah, we're kind of seeing a bit of a reversal of roles this whole map so far. Every defender has been so aggressive. Hashira have been aggressing towards A and B sides, while Wildfire Sphinx now, they're just playing so heavily towards mid. It's working out very well for them. Zareth as well, even on defense, just jumping out with the blast packs, doing so much work here for Wildfire Sphinx. 9-8 now, they take a lead, I think for the first time in this map. And let's see if they can keep it. Kiki wants to take this fight. Gonna spray them down. That's 1. That's 2. Oh, nice play there from Kiki.
Perfect. And then the second one, triple kill already. Japips, what are you gonna do? She's kind of stuck. Okay, crouch walking actually finds Sarah.
One
Trap
enemy
bots
remaining.
pays off sometimes. One
down,
more for
B.
Japips, by the way.
And she's getting healed up too.
It's a winnable round for sure. Oh. Nice try there
But-
from Japips. Really nice start to the round from Kiki, honestly, with the 3K and just using the resets to reposition. Super nice stuff here from the side of Wildfire Sphinx. The aggression that we're seeing from them is a really nice change of pace.
It's a little bit of I don't know, maybe just an all-in, you know, kind of like poker. They had kind of that half-ish buy, and they just thought, you know what, let's just go for it. All 5 players rush in, but when you got someone like Kiki and she's hiding in that exact off angle, she gets all the information she needs, and the entire team is able to rotate in. So right now, WFX going with the aggression. Xerath actually able to find one with an operator as well. It's going to be B main to stop the push from Hashira. Lockdown being deployed though, and they are looking to defend it. Spike will actually be able to get delivered in towards the B site. It's a 2v3, and Cher trying to push out from mid gets caught out by Kachao.
Spike planted.
Luna, last one standing here. 1v3. What can she really do right now? The angle is just so hard for her to play. Chow gives herself away though.
Just waiting for the peaks, but no one's landing any headshots just yet. Getting caught out with the turret. It's going to be Key who puts the final nail in the coffin. Very, very. I mean, this is what you're seeing from both sides. They're not quite landing every shot. They're a little bit scared to peek, but just because Hashira, when they are feeling it, when they have that aggression, that numbers advantage, they know that they can walk away with so much, and Wildfire Sphinx gets punished. So 10-9 right now, and HSR are actually starting to come back.
Yeah, HSR, they're trying to tie this one up. We see a bit of a scuff by here for Wildfire Sphinx, so if Hashira do win this one, it will be a tied match at 10-10 once again. We'll see if that actually works out though. A lot of aggression towards mid right now from Hashira.
Both teams
Yeah,
pretty much
almost
evenly
market.
matched. They just walk in towards market, but then Clara with the ghost, holding the off angle, finds a quick double, gets deleted by Minji. We're back into a 2v2 right now, make that a 2v1 as Luna gets caught out of position over by stairs. It's all up to Scherzinga. She is going to be able to upgrade her Spectre though, and has a full belt of utility. This is not impossible.
Hashira are really low, honestly. She doesn't have to kill 2 people, she just has to kill 1 person twice.
Uh-oh. Oh, look at what Scherzinga's
She
doing.
doesn't know what angle they're gonna be in.
Oh, the teleport. Going in with the paranoia as well. They don't quite get blinded.
Oh, boy.
Then the gravity well. Oh, what a headshot! Nice readjustment!
Okay.
Then the burst
Gets the
into
wall
its
bang.
Lucky!
Wow.
Scherzinga with the 1v2 clutch! What?
The headshot while getting pulled is really something. I mean,
Oh my god.
that takes some skill, but also that takes a little bit of, I don't like the word luck, so we'll just say good fortune right there. But
That's all skill.
it's one for the highlight reels for sure.
Look at, oh my god.
Oh my god, while being tugged around on the roller coaster, gets the headshot and then gets the wall bangs as well.
If you're in Scherzinga's chat, like that just feels so good. Walking away with something like that. Plus, you get put at 11-9. That's 2 rounds ahead of Hashira. If you win the next, and taking a look at Hashira's economy right now, that is very, very possible. It's going to be match point. Hashira, that's why they're calling this tactical timeout. They need to like just bind themselves together and think, what's going wrong? Why aren't we winning these rounds? What can we do to change the outcome?
Honestly, I have no answers for you. It's very clear what was going wrong for the side of Wildfire Sphinx when they were on offense. But for Hashira, it just seems like they're losing duels and they're losing members where they shouldn't. Pushing into Garden right there, they had a 2v1 against Declaration with a Ghost. And they didn't check the corners. Declaration got a 2k with a Ghost against 4 buys. These kind of things just shouldn't happen. It seems like Hashira are just making too many mistakes, not winning enough duels, and I know it sounds very oversimplified to say this, but at the end of the day, that's really all it is.
It really is. I mean, you're even seeing it in that 1v2 against Scherzinga. Yes, Scherzinga was absolutely awesome. She actually managed to get a headshot despite getting sucked in by the gravity well. But the fact that they were holding that angle, the fact that they were using utility, they should have gotten that frag. So something's going wrong, and maybe it's the mechanics. But right now, just the speedy plays from Kachao going in, just like the race car that is Lightning McQueen. Kind of like her name. I love this so much.
I love the comparisons.
She's rushing in towards Garden. And Key just putting the turret up front on the Radiant crates. She's going in, clears in hell, picks up a free Phantom. Her teammate might have fallen though, but the main thing is they got the spike planted. It's a 3v3. WFX full send, the full squad from heaven, and they are fully aware of this. Cosmic Divide a little bit too late from Plucky though. I don't know if that's the best thing. He's gonna get caught out. It's a 1v2. Plucky, you gotta make this quick.
This is a bit sketch. I'm not sure if that divide helps her.
Oh!
Oh, Zara for good measure. Just make sure that they can secure this round. And that's gonna be WFX on match point right now.
Match point.
Was that a mistake, Roma? What do you think with that Cosmic Divide?
I feel like it was a mistake. It made it so hard for her to see where the spike was and who was on it. I feel like
Yeah.
I don't know. I could see the idea behind it, but ultimately I think it might have botched the angle a little bit right there, unfortunately, from Plucky. And yeah, like you mentioned, a little bit too late as well. Maybe could have saved her teammates if she used it a bit earlier.
You know what? I'm thinking it. You're saying it. It's really, really weird. In that situation where you have the numbers advantage, the Cosmic Divide gets played a little bit too late at a disadvantageous angle as well. Right now, it's match point for WFX, and well, HSR just don't quite have the economy. Kachao banking on her Blade Storm. She has to make this one count. So in towards Amy, she's waiting for the Dark
really
to
close.
dissipate. She's just holding the angle, doesn't quite find anyone, but she knows that they're positioned out towards Garden instead. Goes in to clear out the site. There is a turret. The rest of the squad should be able to arrive on time as well, but they're getting delayed. They're going in towards Garden instead. The spike gets dropped. There's going to be a couple of trades in towards that one spot. Kachao holding Heaven to the best that she can. Recon vault in towards Garden right now. Shooting down the turret will be even better. Spike gets planted.
Spike planted.
Here we go. It's a 3v3.
3v3 right now, but you can't help but favor WFX. They're on fire. They have 4 armors. Ooh! Nice tap from Zareth.
One enemy
Quick
remaining.
adjustment, and then Luna, the collapse is coming. You feel it, it's happening. Declaration will be able to get the final kill, and along with that, the final round win. Wildfire Sphinx takes it 13-9, and HSR, despite fighting tooth and nail, will not be able to take Ascent away. And for a map that they play quite awfully often on, I'm just surprised that this is they're not just like streamers. This is a team that's
They're
looking
very
to go
polished,
pro.
for sure. Some of
But-
their executes have looked very nice.
Yeah, Wildfire Sphinx, they've got it.
They have definitely got it. I mean, the fragging power is definitely there. Zareth is the big standout for me. Kiki is also solid, and the rest of the members, they're doing the jobs as well. So across the board, they are definitely looking like a bit of a polished team, whereas Hashira, I can't help but feel like they are relying a bit too much on some of their individual members to be able to find frags rather than having clear set approaches towards their executes. I think that's the big difference on offense, right? When Wildfire Sphinx, when they hit the site, they hit it hard, they hit it fast, and they get the site. I can't quite say the same about Hashira though. They do go for the duels. When they lose the duels, they lose the round, and that's basically the story of the game.
It's really, really weird, and duels that they should be winning, sometimes quite aren't, and it's definitely very weird. But you know what? That is going to be that is Ascent, and well, at the end of the day, it is Wildfire Sphinx's map pick. So if they win that one, I'm not too mad about it. The next map, that's the question. It's going to be Hashira's map pick, and they picked Breeze.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on that?
Well, Hashira picked Breeze because I do believe the analyst desk mentioned that they like these long-range duels, right? And that seems to be their strength. That seems to be what they're going a lot for in this map pick as well. If it plays out like how it did in Ascent and they just lose these duels, I can see them just completely collapsing on Breeze despite it being their map pick. But they really need to get the ball rolling. They need to get some tempo. They need to get a bit of confidence and win these duels. Then I can see it maybe going to 3 maps. And then with Icebox being the last map, once again, Wildfire Sphinx's map pick, I could see it being a bit of a reversal. I'm not hopeful for it, but I can see the possibility.
Well, we're just gonna have to wait and see because I really don't quite know what to expect. Both teams kind of evenly matched, but you're starting to see some slight slip ups here and there. But you know what? That was only for a cent. Next map, it's gonna be Breeze, and it's gonna be a maybe a chilly one for those of you guys watching from home. Please stay on stream. We're gonna go for a quick break, and after that, it's gonna be Breeze. There you have it. I mean, welcome back, folks. But that is our sponsors. I mean, a huge shout out to them because they help us run all of this. They help us keep our lights on. It's Intel, it's Yahoo, and also to bring you back into the action, it's us, your casters. Hey, I'm Quack, and this is the handsome Omo. We just saw a pretty, I guess, gnarly game from
Gnarly is one way to put
WFX. Yeah, WFX and Hashira. But moving on into the next, it's going to be Breeze. It's Hashira's map pick. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, like I think the emphasis of what we've seen so far, of the strategies and approaches that both of these teams are taking so far, I think it's very clear to me, and hopefully to the viewers at home as well, that Hashira like to play for the duels. When the duels go well, they win the rounds. And Breeze is a good map for that. There's a lot of long range angles where you can take these fights, but at the same time, if you lose these duels at mid, I can see Hashira just completely collapsing in some of these rounds. Let's take a quick look at the stats from the previous one though. Xerath, 28 kills, close to dropping a 30, and a 326 combat score. Definitely the standout performer from the last map.
Yeah, I mean, you're definitely seeing the two MVPs going up against each other right now. Xerath, might not have had the best performance against Alter Ego Celeste, but then again, that is Alter Ego
No one
Celeste.
does,
but
right?
yeah, right now, I mean, when she's going in and explosive, when she's feeling it, she is going to come up huge with that 2.5 KDA. You're definitely seeing signs of life for Wildfire Sphinx, and this is one of their, I guess, comfortable maps after all. So it's no wonder that they're actually able to pull this off. But I'm more curious about Hashira. What's going wrong? What's not working for them right now? Because when you got players like Plucky, players like Japips, and even Minji, Kachao, Ki, there are rounds where you see them feeling confident. They want to go for those frags, those duels, but they're just not quite connecting their shots.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what it is. Headshot percentage going the way of WFX, as well as damage and the frag wins. So a lot of fragging power coming out from the side of WFX. Of course, they did win. I do believe it was something like 3 more rounds at the end of the map. Yeah, there we go. 4 more rounds. It's right at the top of my screen. So, of course, they're going to be doing a lot more damage, a lot more fragging power coming out from WFX. Yeah, I think to call back to your point, what's going wrong for Hashira? I think that this is a team, whether they win here today, whether they lose here today, they need to go back to the drawing board and they need to figure out what's going wrong with our executes. I think that's the biggest question, because when they try to execute on the sides, it doesn't look clean. It feels like there's a lot of panic, a lot of nerves. They're like, okay, do I need to check this angle? Where do I need to push? They're not very well refined in the strategy. And even WFX, as a newer team, they do look much more refined in their executes, and that's something that struck me from round 1.
Yeah, it definitely seems that way. I think, for me personally, maybe not so much refined, but a little bit more wild.
Sure, but yeah.
When you got someone like
idea.
Xerath, yeah, they have been. This is rough picture of like, okay, this is the sequence in which we want things to go. Number 1, for sure, it's gonna be Xerath with the blast packs. Let's just send her into the site, and once that distraction is gone, the rest of the team will be able to flood in along with her, and that actually works. I mean, so many rounds you see her with a showstopper, and if you're on the side of Hashira, it's just kind of like, what do I do now? You got a showstopper coming your way. Either you run away from it or you stay in the corner, and sometimes you just get caught out. But Hashira, on the other hand, maybe it is the executes, but I still think that sometimes it really is the mechanics, the skills that they've got, because their ability usage actually isn't the worst thing. I mean, so many times you see the Astra Nebulas, they have some setups, even especially on defense. There are rounds where, if I recall, sometimes Plucky would place a star up towards a main, and that allows for Kachao to sneak in towards Wine. It's lovely to see things like that, but despite being placed or despite using their abilities to give them these advantageous positions, they just can't quite follow up through with those kills. I mean, remember that 1v2 with Scherzinga against Plucky?
Yes, that was unfortunate.
Yeah, really, really unfortunate. I mean, who knows? But you know what? Next map, it is Breeze. It's a map that's, everyone knows, very long, very wide open. Illustrato and Tanya mentioned that Hashira, maybe they favor these long-range duels. Perhaps this is a map that they will perform better on. It is their map pick after all, but they will be starting out on the attack.
Yeah, so that's going to be a little bit iffy for them. Of course, Wildfire Sphinx, that means that they chose defense. And I honestly do favor that a little bit more. I think defense is, I think this has always been my philosophy, right? Unless you're playing at the absolute top level, defense is generally going to be easier to play. There's less you really need to do. You just have to hold your angles. You need to hold your corners. You can be a bit aggressive here and there, but in general, it's more formulaic. It's easier to execute on. And I do want to see what Hashira can really do on offense in their map pick, because it really is just going to tell us the story of how this map is going to go.
I do believe this story should be going in a 2-1. Going to Hashira Wildfire Sphinx, I have no idea, but this is Hashira's map pick. This is a map that Wildfire Sphinx don't really have a lot of experience on. I mean, maybe aside from scrims or playing ranked perhaps, but looking at our stats sheet, they've only played this map once, on which they actually won. So there is a chance, but I want to favor Hashira right now. This is a map that they picked. They played Ascent, they play Icebox. They should be very, very comfortable on these maps. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see what kind of setups they've got. Right now, starting on the attack, they weren't performing as well on Ascent, but on a map that they picked, on a map that is kind of their home, they should be able to pull off some well-timed executes.
That is interesting. I mean, we expect to see Viper on this map 100% of the time. But look at the side of Hashira. They are going for the Cypher instead of the Sage. I feel like Sage is such an essential part of this map because there's just so many angles, so many entrances that you kind of do need a Sage wall to really lock something down. But I do believe it was Hashira who chose not to go for the Sage instead on attack, opting for the Cypher. That's an interesting one for sure. It's a very nice adaptation, and we'll have to see how it plays out because I have no experience with what Cypher will provide over a Sage in this map.
Yeah, really, who knows? I mean, when you watch teams like Alter Ego Celeste and they play triple Sentinels, it still works. So if it works, it works. But we'll have to see how they actually play this. I mean, you think about Cypher, your Cyber Cage can do quite a bit. Sage is nice, but again, like Illustrato mentioned, the wall can be effective. It's just that people are starting to figure out ways to work around it. Unless,
right?
You're able to take off maybe 1-2 panels and then just walk your way in. Or, if you're really that creative, use your wall to boost you up into some special spots. But who knows what these teams have got for us? We'll have to watch what they do. Shazinga on the stage this time, which is a little bit curious as well because she's usually the dedicated controller. Xerath going aggressively in towards mid doors, though no headshots for either player, but Xerath is going to be the one that bites.
Shazinga sees them. Okay.
That is a creative way to use your wall.
Yeah, it's definitely cheeky. She gets a little bit of a gap to really just get some damage down through, so that's going to be nice for sure. Actually, I do want to point out one more thing really quickly before the execute comes in. Okay, it's going to have to wait. The execute is coming in as we speak.
They're using the toxic screen and they want to get the spike down as soon as possible because even if they lose this round, it's just a nice little bit of economy boost. But Shazinga doesn't want to give them all that much room to breathe with. She is trying to stutter step and find those headshots, but won't be able to connect it just yet. Walks past the toxic screen and in towards Key's crosshair she will go. Eats one to the face. Another headshot for Key. There's one player left and that's Kiki versus Key right now. But who's got more health? Who's got more health, Omo?
It's a big health gap here for sure, and Kiki, there we go, the health gap pays off. 18 HP left at the end of that one. That's gonna be Wildfire Sphinx picking up the first round here.
So many keys. The only thing is that my key isn't casting this one with us. But yeah, it's gonna be Wildfire Sphinx. They kind of had the information, but of course I think the biggest thing was the wall from Shazinga, and then of course the rest of the team as well, just getting all that information, knowing the execute was going to come in towards A. But you know what? I just remembered you kind of had something that you wanted to highlight.
Yeah, like Sage is not just a defensive option in this pick, it's also an
Yeah.
aggressive option. It gives you such an easy way to enter the site with so many angles around the entrances to both sides. The wall really just lets you get in and get the plant down on both A and B. So opting for the Cypher on attack here is an additional element which I'm uncertain about. Maybe it's to watch their backs, that's the only reason I can think of that the Cypher will be better than Sage, but still, I'm a bit doubtful about this pick.
Well, and again, we don't quite know. For now, it's just not working out at all for Kachao. She gets shut down, but the fight is happening in towards mid, and then Kiki is able to down one more player. Spike gets dropped. She pings it out for her team. Scherzinga's coming in with the flank as well, and Japips, she's not going to stay alive for long. It's 2-0, WFX with the second round win, but right now, we're just following the script. It's going to be round number 3, full buy from Hashira, probably.
Yep.
Will they actually be able to turn this into a win?
Well, they kind of need to, right? That's kind of what we talked about in map 1 as well. Round number 3 is just so important because if you win it as the team with Spectres, then that does wonders for your economy. You get to upgrade. If you win it on the team there with Rifles, you kind of need to do that, right? It's kind of mandatory that you win if you full buy on round 3 because if you don't, your economy just goes down the gutter. But we'll have to see how this plays out because I kind of like the whole that WFR are going for right now.
Yeah,
Very
actually
aggressive,
pushing
very in the face.
towards elbow. It's going to be Kiki, finds one, immediately dismisses away and backs
Oh,
off.
so-
Lucky, what are you doing dashing into her crosshairs? Gets shut down. And then the backup from Luna arrives. It's a 3v2 now. In a round that was a full buy from Hashira. Shouldn't have been that costly, but still, Japips is looking to do a little bit more damage. Another headshot her way. Xerath as well as Scherzinga right now. The two streamers coming in from tunnel. They won't be able to find anyone as they are hiding behind those little pillars, but still, space is being created. They're pushing in towards sight.
Yeah, this is already a win for Wildfire Sphinx because they take away so many of those rifles, but if they can get just these 2 frags in, Hashira close out that one.
If they could, but I guess this is what
It's a very big if.
the desk was talking about, the long-range duels. They are holding down those angles, and as soon as they hear the footsteps, they get the information that Xerath and Scherzinga are coming from these locations. They get their pre-aimed crosshairs, they go in for the swing, and they will be able to get those headshots. If they can repeat this magic, that would be good. But let's see what happens. This is round number 4 now. Full buys all across the board. I kind of thought that Hashira might not be able to, but I guess they will, with the exception of Plucky on a Spectre and Kachao on a Bulldog.
Yeah, not the worst case scenario to be in. Scherzinga here walling off double doors. It's gonna be very nice, but that means that mid control is basically going over to
Oh my
Wildfire
God.
Sphinx. It's a nice first frag there for Xerath.
Yeah, she's another one who's good at those long-range duels, I
yeah.
guess, with the Guardian. But Hashira, somewhere in towards B and mid. They're going in with the B split push, one from main and the others from tunnel. Luna will not be able to hold her ground. And of course, they will be able to get the site. Spike gets planted. It's a 2v3 retake. Any thoughts, Omo?
It's looking like a hard one for WFX, but it's not impossible. It is Xerath alive as well as Kiki, 2 of their hardest fraggers, so I can't see this being a doable round for WFX.
Still, though, they're kind of separated.
The angles are
Couple
really
warning
hard to
shots
play
from
with. That's the
Kiki,
problem
yeah.
right now.
They won't be able to spot anyone out, and the thing that they have to look out for really is Minji, who is in another location. Japips coming huge, quick double headshot for the triple kill in the round.
Yep.
And yeah, 2-2 right now. I mean, that's positioning. You got
For sure.
The B side is kind of like a square. You got 4 corners, maybe with the exception of arches.
Yep.
But that's exactly the places that they were holding. I mean, you got those 2 corners around the left, and then Japips was hiding with an off angle in towards tunnel as well as a main. Yeah.
It's a very dangerous angle for sure, right? Because you have no cover. The moment someone sees you, you're basically done for. But the problem is, everyone is just going to be looking towards the defaults, right? The back sides where Hashira were hiding. But Japeeps was just making use of that disorientation to just find 2 quick frags, and that was huge from her. WFX now back on the eco. They're going to try to do the best they can.
Definitely trying. At least Xerath has got the information, but Luna won't even be able to pull out her blind. They're gonna get shot down, but Xerath coming up with
Plucky.
the sheriff. Xerath, Sheriff, that kind of rhymes, but Plucky, yeah, with the Blade
Sarah,
Storm right now.
Sheriff.
Still, Spike already has been planted, though. That's the main thing.
Yep.
It's going to be a tough retake because of this wall, because of the positionings. Again, it's the same thing.
Wall is starting to decay. The knives don't quite land.
One enemy remaining.
Plucky just flicks around.
It's all right.
Okay.
What was that? Plucky dashing out into the open, maybe allowing for her teammates to,
Yeah, she was
an extra
bait.
target is just tougher for Kiki to deal with, but she's gonna die in vain. Kiki is able to make it away with her Vandal. The thing you gotta wonder about though is economy.
Oh,
And that's
no.
just that's just cherry on top.
Yeah. It's not the worst case scenario for Kiki being able to hold on to the gun and take away some guns from the side of Hashira, but now I want to take a quick look at the economy across the board for both these teams, because I think that's the big thing to look out for right now. 4 buys for now, but whoever loses this one, oh, actually, it's not too bad for Hashira. I think they have a bit of a buffer, but if WFX, if they lose this, I think they're gonna be broke.
Yeah, most likely should be, perhaps with the exception of Kiki, but we'll have
Yep.
to see. Right now, Xerath has been pushing aggressively in towards mid. This time, she's up towards the top of mid, maybe getting some information, but she's gonna get shut down instead. That's actually Trizinga in towards mid doors. Right now, they should know that it's gonna be an A hit at this point. The spike is already underway, and WFX a little bit slow on the rotate. They're very cautious about the positions. In fact, their positions are going to get spotted out, and they're the Cypher coming into play.
Oof, nice Rex there. Just maintaining control of the side for Hashira, but it's a 2-on-2. It's gonna be hard for the retake right now. There's so many angles to check. That's the problem with playing retakes on Breeze.
Yeah, definitely kind of swapping the roles. Now, first you were on defense, now you're on attack. Still, though, they know that Japips is somewhere in towards mid
That's
doors.
so nice from
One enemy
Japips.
remaining.
Oh, that's so nice from Japips and Key. Just holding the angles, and Japips, when she smelled them, when she heard them starting to push towards her, she just backs off. You don't need to take that duel. Just waste their time. It's such a big map, it's such a big site. They have no time to push you and defuse. And it was a very nice crossfire there from the side of Hashira, bringing this one to 4-2.
And this is the Hashira that we wanted to see
yeah.
over on Ascent, but here we go. They're starting to come into their own. It is a 4-2, and they have shattered WFX's economy. So right now with their positions, going for the aggressive mid control, slicing mid in half because of the toxic screen. What are they thinking? Maybe get control over top mid, wrap around into A, or mid tunnel in B tunnel in towards B.
Yep, it
That
looks like it's
certainly
gonna be a
what
B
they want to.
split.
Oh, Xerath.
Oh, Kiki doesn't quite find that.
Well, still though.
It's gonna be an eco for WFX, by the way. It's gonna be so hard to take this fight to B. The
It's-
angles are so long.
Should be. Oh,
Her
Knives
feet
has
was
been
showing. She
spent.
one weight herself.
this is a huge brawl right now.
Yep.
And Xerath is actually able to find a double kill in all of that chaos. Still, they know that she's here. They will be able to find her head. And then they make their way over onto A. Declaration as well as Luna a little bit late to the party.
Oh no, they misread the situation.
It's a big ring around the rosy moment.
Yeah, I got a little bit confused there as well, so I can't blame Hashira for getting confused too. They just went to loop all the way around and planted the spike rather back at A. They have some pretty decent angles. I wouldn't say they have the best post plant positions, but this is something they can work with here for Hashira.
Plucky wanting to get out here. It's just holding the spring. Does the damage to Declaration. Needs the
shots.
headshot right now.
Yeah, Declaration has 3 shots in the chamber. She's gonna tap the spike.
Oh. Plucky's just toying with her at this point. Back and forth around the
Oh,
box.
this is
It's
so
buying
frustrating.
time. Clara just can't quite find anything. Tried to go in for the wall bang. And then finally the swing from Plucky.
I feel the frustration in that situation, you know, because if you just don't peek them, it's so hard for you to really just get in, get the frag, and then get the defuse. There's no real time for that. So it's such a difficult situation to play from the side of WFX. it was a valiant attempt for them to even get a spy plant down. I think that was a very nice strategy to just loop all the way back around mid to get the plant, and that's gonna get them rifles for this round. But Hashira, 5-2, they're starting to run away with this one.
Certainly seeing the gap happen. Shazinga this time with the wall to deny mid control. I mean, we've been talking about all these kills, but right before our very eyes, Hashira has been going to mid time and time again. And this time, it's going to be Declaration shutting that play down. It's down to a 3v4 now. They're still trying to commit in towards B, but Kachao as well as Minji get shut down, and it's all up to Key. Won't be able to find anything from Elbow. Gets destroyed instead.
This one's a little bit of a slaughter, I think. 4 frags for the side of WFX. Oh, sorry, 4 for 5. 1 for 5. Oh my goodness, math is just so hard right now. They lose 1, they pick up 5, so that's going to be a very nice round for WFX. Economy-wise, this is exactly what they need to start building up a little bit of money in their pockets. A little bit of credit here and there is going to help them a lot. So I believe if they lose this round, they will still be able to buy in the next. And on the side of Hashira, we see some scuffed buys coming out. Plucky doesn't quite have the knives yet. Does need to find 1 more frag for that. And I do believe this is one of the first few attempts towards A. There we go, to get the knives. And Plucky will have the blade storm available. What do they want to execute towards? It's looking like an A. And this is the first time they're going from A main, I believe.
The wall is definitely a wrench in their plans.
Oh, nice.
It's the same one with a gap, and this time they know
you can't
it.
try it twice. Fool me once.
One enemy remaining.
Getting bitten twice shy. So they're going in towards the site. Spike's getting planted. It's basically a flawless victory at this point. I might be a little bit early with this, but Plucky holding this off angle. The rest of the squad somewhere around site, some towards mid doors. I don't see Luna walking her way out of this one with her life. Gets spotted out by the camera as well. And then Plucky updrafting, making her think
Okay.
Okay.
That's enough. You see Plucky just running away. She wants no more of this. Nice.
Alright. Well, at the very least, stealing the flawless victory away from Hashira, but it's still going to be a 6-3. And I mean, this is, we kind of thought about it. You thought about how, you know, maybe their buy was a little bit scuffed, but as soon as they got the alt orb, as soon as they read the situation, seeing the same angled wall orb from Shazinga, they knew how exactly to punish it.
Yeah, it was a little bit funny, honestly, seeing them just pre-fire the angle the moment they peeked out, knowing that there was a gap in the wall. So that's a nice adaptation. Oh, not again! Ah, that's just unfortunate to watch.
I think it still could or should have at least spotted anyone out if they were holding in towards a lobby, but the rest of the team are already in towards cave, so at the very least denying a drone. This is going to be a bit of information for both sides, but the biggest question still is, where is the spike? It's headed in towards B right now, mid getting denied by Minji, and that could be devastating for Wildfire. Sphinx depends on whether or not Minji is able to find Kiki. You never quite expect players to be hiding over on the right corner, and there she will finally reveal herself, taking Kachao down. It's a 5v4, and they're looking to explode on towards the B site. They find 2 quick frags. Spike will get planted, but Minji, unfortunately, her kill streak ends right there. 3v3 right now, and it's another even odds retake. I say even.
Here to really just keep them at bay. Might have been a little bit too early, a bit premature there, but still.
Gonna get flushed up position, but it's still just good enough. They spray all over the place, but it's going to be Declaration coming out on top. Xerath just posting herself down, going full turret mode, finding a couple quick kills, and then Declaration going in to play off of her contact. This is Wildfire Sphinx starting to come together as a team.
Yep, definitely. That was an important round for them to find, and I do think that Breeze at the end of the day is a little bit easier to play on the side of defense. So Wildfire Sphinx, as many rounds as they can find here on offense, is going to be really helping them out later on when the side swap. Or rather Hashira getting it a little bit mixed up right now, but it's fine. Wildfire Sphinx, it looks like they might want to play towards a more aggressive mid hold this time around. We see them approaching the double doors. Don't quite go for it though, so that's fine.
Another play with aggressive mid control. Lucky. I mean, she had enough money, but I'm a little bit curious. I mean, it is the second last round, first half, so going with the Spectres right now, trying to get full value out of this, just running and gunning. They are able to find a double. Spike gets planted, Neuro Theft as well. If you're WFX at this point, unless you're able to walk away with all these kills, it's not going to be enough.
Nearly finding the frag down to Kachao. Gets the camera. Kiki doesn't have a rifle, so this is going to be a really hard round.
Sarah just walking up the site. You're not raised anymore. Slow down. They walk in, and Hashira basically just hold their crosshairs, get the flawless victory. It's 7-4 right now. And last round of the first half, here we go. Hashira has all the money in the world. Look at all those guns raining all over the floor. They can even buy up operators, maybe Odins as well. But maybe they're just banking on the rifles.
If you look across the board, though, it's a very different story for the side of WFX. Zeref here has the Marshal, of course she does have the Blade Storm, so it's not the end of the world. It's kind of a bit of a budget operator situation going on, but I think she has to take what she can get at this point. Shazinga this time going for the complete wall, kind of not willing to risk it anymore with the gap in the wall. And we do see the Viper's pitch being expanded towards B to hold the side so that Declaration's teammates can rotate towards A and hold that side.
Yeah, but this is a Viper's Pit that's only relegated around the B site.
Look at Kachao right now.
Usually you'd have it around B main. That's allowing Kachao to come in from the back. Clara gonna get slapped down, and all of a sudden this is a 5v4. Hashira, now that the panel is gone, they bought a little bit of space. They're gonna go in, even with the jumping as the blaze storm happens. Luna trying to find whatever she can, gonna get shut down by Japips, and all that's left is Kiki around top mid. Still has to be wary about where Kachao is positioned, and she gets the flashes. She gets it in her face. Kachao with Lightning McQueen. I love it. Kachao.
I love it. It's a great reference. I can't believe I didn't notice that earlier. That was... Okay, so let's take track of what's happening in this map so far. Hashira, they're hitting hard, they're hitting fast, and this is kind of what we mentioned earlier on in Ascent. This was kind of where they faltered, right? When they were executing towards the sides, they weren't able to find really much ground, and their executions just, it seemed like they had no clear plan of what they want to do. Here on Breeze, however, it's the opposite story. They're just so clean. Well, maybe clean's not the word once again, but they're just very familiar, I think, with how they want to execute towards these sides. Towards A, towards B, they know where they want to go from. They just get mid control and then either go for a B split or go A through double doors. It's gotten them 8 rounds, and that's a really nice thing to have as they swap to defense right now. It's going to be a pretty comfortable situation for Hashira, I would think.
Absolutely. I mean, the adaptations towards the way that WFX has been setting up themselves as well. But right now, the sides have been swapped, and it's going to be Hashira on the defensive. Japips trying to hold around that one crate, jumping up to give herself a little bit of an elevated angle, actually able to find Shazinga's head through the smoke. Spike gets dropped, and all of a sudden they don't quite have the advantage anymore, but still, Zeref trying to find all the shots that she can. Luna comes out, finds a couple more frags, and all of a sudden, she's relegated towards the back. The fact that the Spike has been dropped out towards Pyramid is the worst thing in the world for Wildfire Sphinx.
Kachao is still over at B, but I don't think that Wildfire Sphinx know this. Wait, I'm actually really curious. Like, does Kachao suspect rotate? The Spike is here.
She could have disconnected.
It is possible. It is possible. But it might pay off. Like, maybe she reconnects and she sees that there's 2 people at B suddenly. That could work out.
That would be hilarious. You just come back from disconnected
30
game.
seconds left.
But yeah,
Oh,
there
back,
she is.
She's back. She's moving.
Oh my god, is it actually happening?
Oh my god, this could work out for her.
Cam gets spotted, tripwire as well. Cyber Cage gets activated. They're just, she should try to stay alive to buy time. Spike getting planted though. The thing you gotta watch out for really is Declaration. Looking over it by the back of B main. She comes out for the swing now. And of course she will be able to get the kill, but then he tapping away with the ghost is able to clean things up. Hashira coming into their own. It's a 9-4 and very possibly a 10-4.
Yeah, it's looking like a very possible 10-round start here for Hashira on Breeze. They will be able to get the Spectres right now. Actually, no, hold on. Hold that thought. Wildfire Sphinx did get the plants, so they might be able to buy up some Spectres here if they so wish. So it might be a bit of an even one. I wouldn't call it a wash for Hashira just yet. Yeah, there we go. Wildfire Sphinx. I think they're deciding like, okay, we have the economy. Let's buy Spectres. Let's contest them right now. Of course, you don't want to let Hashira go to 10 rounds for free. You have to try something here, and I do like the approach coming from Wildfire Sphinx.
You have to be very, very cautious because you lose this round and you're definitely going to lose the next. In fact, getting tagged, this means that A has been completely blocked off just because of the presence of the Marshal alone. Plucky, eyeing down this angle. Even dodging, playing anti-flash. She doesn't get blinded. The rest of the team trying to make their way in right now. She tailwinds away, gets healed. Very nicely done. It's going to be Japeeps holding the same off angle. Shazinga trying to do whatever she can to get onto site, but it just won't quite happen. Clara, up from the metal doors though, is going to get spotted out. They're getting shut down. It's Japeeps with the Spectre, and she's trying to spray them down, but she won't be able to find Xerath. Counters her with a Spectre of her own. We're in towards a 3v2. And Minji is trying to go in for this. Gets one more headshot. Cannot convert into the next as Xerath is coming in huge right now. And Luna closing it out with a headshot off her own. It's a 9-5 and the force buy works once more.
The force buy works once more. And I want to point out really quickly, let's look at the kills from the side of Hashira. Japeeps has 22 frags, more than double of the next closest person on the team. So she has been doing so much work here for the side of Hashira. Whereas on the side of Wildfire Sphinx, I think overall as a team, they've been doing pretty well. But this is going to be a very nice start to the defender side for them. Or rather to the attacker side for them, considering that now Hashira, they're gonna be on 4 ecos basically with just a Marshal in the hands of Kachao. So this might just go to a 9-6 here for WFX.
Very potentially, unless Kachao is able to nail their shots right now. She's gonna get slowed, and then Xerath wants to fly up into her face! The right click, what? Is able to shut her down. Goes back in for a peek. But Luna, now's not the time to pull out your abilities. She finally gets the headshot. It's still a 4v1. Plucky with a lone sheriff. Should not be able to find much in this spot, but who knows? Goes in for a bit of a jiggle. Senses Shazinga. Takes her down with one shot. Flicks onto Declaration. It's a 1v2 right now. They know full well where she is. No way she gets her kills at this point. Yeah, walk in, 2 targets, you flick back to back, and of course all that you see is the splitting image of you getting shot down. 9-6 right now. And they still actually make it kind of costly for Wildfire Sphinx, but you know what? Both teams get full buy at this point. So the big question is, how does the setup look? What's going to happen in this round, Olmo?
Well, I think that's the same story once again, right? We're basically getting the third round in half, just delayed by 1. If Wildfire Sphinx, they win this round, they're set up to really run the tempo of this half, because then that means that Hashira, if they lose this, they're going to be broke once again. So we really need to see. This round is going to be a hugely important one for the momentum of the rest of the map. We'll have to see what they can do here on defense, and gets a quick frag to start that one off.
Knowing that there might be a player positioned around mid doors, pre-aims it, gets the kill. That is very nice. A little bit of mid control right now, but then Minji comes back in to find the trade. She's down to 50 HP though, so that's still not the best thing in the world. And right now, Xerath trying to push out of A cave, gonna get shut down by Plucky with the operator. At this point, if you're Wildfire Sphinx, you got to be very careful about your positioning, and that's going to be Declaration trying to make as much noise as possible, because guess what? The spike is being delivered on towards B.
The spike is being planted on B right now. Only Minji, I believe, in the vicinity of this one. We'll have to see if the retake is doable. It is a 3-on-3. Minji has a pretty good position right now. It's Lucky looking for angles, but no one's really going to be peeking into this operator.
Oh my gosh. Stay hidden. They got spotted, both of them, because of the recon. And right now, they know that Declaration is somewhere up towards mid. Plucky's going to shut that down with one blade. Flies in towards the back of Luna.
player
and
standing.
then gets shut down by Shuzinga. 1v1, she tries to spray it down with the Spectre, but the Vandal headshot is just too strong. Does Key have time though? She's sticking it, and she should get the defuse. Down to
wait.
0.08 seconds.
I swear I saw the exploding animation begin there. Not quite, it seems, but wow, that was really running down to the wire right there. I'm a bit of a lost for words. It was an amazing round. A lot of things to keep track of. Plucky coming in with the highlight reel play there with the Blade Storm. And at the end of the day, Key, just a millisecond away, gets the defuse.
Incredible. And that is what happens when Hashira starts to nail their shots. Every single headshot going their way. Plucky with the knives as well. Still though, economy maybe not their friend right now. They're gonna have to. Well,
They did
economy's
lose
really
fall.
been screwed up because of that force fire round. We got Spectres, we got Bulldogs, we got an Ares as well. Kachao trying to go in for a bit of a jiggle peek, and that's a very difficult thing to do with an Ares right now. So, Wildfire Sphinx, all positioned up towards cave. They don't know that Plucky is coming in from the back.
Yeah, Plucky with a very nice position. Once again, tries to outdraft away, but does get caught out
You
there.
will not kill my ally.
Okay.
And then the res, they get a free Vandal.
They do get a free Vandal into the hands of Shuzinga. Not a bad pickup at all. It does cost them the rest though, so it's gonna be a 5-on-4.
Wait,
Let's see what WFX can do here.
okay, wait. The Spike is at the bottom of rope. The rest of the team, they're trying to push in towards A. And then the remaining three out towards mid. What
It's okay, we're
what-
playing deathmatch right now. The spike doesn't really matter. Oh,
I guess.
Japibs.
But when you have someone like Japibs holding right on the edge of that toxic screen,
I
gonna
honestly
shut you
think they
down.
just forgot. I honestly think they just forgot about the spike, and this is gonna be a really big use of the Cypher ultimate right now.
oh no. Well, Seekers go out, and then Key takes Luna out. At the very least, they get a little bit of extra information, but Shuzinga can deliver the spike on towards the A site. She takes Japibs down, and that is the Star Fragger gone. Heals herself back up. Clara has to make a quick move in towards the A site, though. If not, Shuzinga might just lose her life, and then the defuse happens. Shuzinga trying to do her best.
I
to
think they
stay
hear
alive.
Kachao in the water.
Very tense. Yeah, they probably do. They know where she is, but Shuzinga won't be able to flick onto her head.
Oh, no.
Kachao
She
going to
can
get it
stake it.
halfway. Clara
She can
wants to
stake
push
it.
in. She's sticking it. Pros don't fake.
Pros don't
Clara
fake.
will not.
Pros don't fake. Honestly, Kachao measured the distance. She kind of had an idea that she could stake it and get the defuse in time, and that's a huge round for Hashira. Not in terms of economy, not in terms of what the round means, but in terms of the mental game, that one is going to be huge for Hashira.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. And if you're Hashira right now and things are just feeling so good, I mean, you're pulling out all of your, I don't know, Demon Slayer sword forms. I forgot what they're called, but Wildfire Sphinx, this is why you're starting to see they're kind of that inexperienced team, right? In terms of teamwork, there's just these tiny little gaps. Declaration all the way on B while Shuzinga is on A, not able to buy enough time. But here we go. A little bit of aggression from Kachao. Gonna get shut down by Kiki. Zareth, though, gonna get caught in no man's land towards mid. And that is back to a 4v4.
Back to a 4v4. Japibs here in a little bit of a iffy situation. Okay, she's gonna be safe, but she doesn't quite know that Kiki is actually, I think Kiki's a bit behind enemy lines right now. Will she be able to find anything? Just gets one onto Key. Doesn't get the upgrade. That's gonna hurt a little bit, but she does get the frag.
And that is enough because it's a big question mark on the side of Hashira's heads. I mean, you gotta think, is someone lurking? Is someone trying to pull off a flank? We're playing defense, and we need to stop the spike from getting delivered onto site. Kiki just
Kiki's
playing
position.
back and forth.
Yeah, her position is doing so much work here for WFX. This guerrilla warfare going on. It's definitely paying dividends here. Spike is planted and Kiki once again behind enemy lines. Gonna exert so much pressure.
Enemy remaining.
Oh my
She's gonna
god,
get the
fourth
ace.
kill.
Not quite.
Oh, gets shut down by Japibs with the quadra right now. And then Shuzinga comes in from the back. What?
It's chaos. It's absolute chaos. It's an absolute bloodbath. WFX ultimately managed to win that round by the skin of their teeth. One person left standing right there. 11-7. HSR are gonna be close to match point, but they are gonna be broke. So that's gonna be equal, and it's gonna be one more chance for WFX to pull themselves back into this one.
I mean, they have to keep this up. They have to win 4 straight rounds, maybe 5. They just want to edge Hashira out of this game. But again, you got to remind everyone, this is both teams fighting for their tournament lives, and the Viper's Pit is going to get deployed, denying B completely. You can see WFX just hightailing it back towards mid, and that's exactly where Japips is positioned, but she won't be able to find the frag.
Doesn't quite manage to find it in the end, and it looks like a full rotation towards A is going to be happening. One more flank attempt. Look at Plucky. Okay, we don't look at Plucky. Plucky just got caught out and died once again. Both the flank attempts from Japips and Plucky just got caught out too early on for it to have any real effect, because the gun gap is going to play a role in that one as well. There we go. This round should be in the pockets of WFX, and that's going to be Viper's Pit committed from Minji as well. That one's going to hurt.
A little bit too costly. Not able to find anything. It's almost a flawless victory for Wildfire Sphinx. Right now, they're just hunting them down. Kachal able to find Luna, though. So, a little bit of damage done. But it's back in towards the duels we go. Luna, trying to find... Well, it's Kachal going back in towards mid doors. Yeah, 3 HP.
This is so depressing.
You don't
3
save a
HP.
sheriff.
Yeah, you don't
what
save
do you
a sheriff. She needs to find someone, right? Because she needs to try to maybe get a frag, but more likely just die and get some money before the next round. She can't quite find anyone, though, and this might just be worse than die. Close.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay. Yeah. It was a little bit odd, but you see it happening. It's just... There's quite a bit of chaos on both sides. It's a little bit tough for both sides, in fact, to get a good read on what exactly is happening. But a lot of these rounds are happening where, you know, Wildfire Sphinx maybe trying to make a little bit of noise, and then they rotate back, and Hashira just... They're kind of second-guessing themselves, I think.
Yeah.
But right now, with the full buys, maybe they feel a little bit more comfortable. They should be able to make this one count. Let's see what happens. I mean, Wildfire Sphinx, they built up quite the bank. They're feeling pretty good about themselves right now as well.
Yeah, for sure. They built up quite the bank. That's exactly the point I wanted to make. They are gonna start running away with this one. If they win this round, economy is very much in WFX's favor. It could go to overtime. That's something I could definitely see happening here. And we'll have to see, because Japips once again so aggressive to get over Kachal. There we go. 2 quick frags is gonna put Hashira in the lead. Hashira are always so aggressive on defense. And there we go. Another frag here. Traded back and forth.
You will not kill my ally.
Back towards the linear gunfights, but right now, Shazinga popping her res. Ultimate economy favoring Hashira at this point, but still 2v3. They might be able to make this one work. Minji a little bit antsy with the movement. Yeah. Movement error is going to cost her that crosshair placement. Will not be able to find the frag. Shazinga even tops herself off with the heals. And then the rotates are happening again.
There we go. Going for a little bit of a tricky juke here. The members of Hashira, it looks like they smelled as though Plucky's going back down towards mid. Wants to make sure
she spots them on the cross. That could be devastating.
Oh, she might actually. Just a little bit of damage.
That's enough.
Get the frags. Yeah.
Because now that they're rotating in from shop and cave,
they're too late.
It's just a matter of timing. Plucky knows this. Should be able to get the shots, but unfortunately
14
misses her
seconds.
window of opportunity.
They have to get the plant.
Goes back in, denies the plant. That is going to be it. No way Wildfire Sphinx wins this round anymore, but Seraph wants to look for the kill. Ring around the rosy. Plucky holding the angle, gets the headshot. 12-8. It's match point almost.
We are going to match point. Yeah, like you mentioned, Quack. This is going to be such a tough situation for WFX. They had a good economy and everything going in their favor, but they just lost the rounds when it mattered the most. And I do believe, okay, yeah, they're not exactly broke, but the buys are going to be a little bit scuffed here. Light armor, as well as some specters coming out, means that WFX, I'm not going to favor them too much for this round. Actually, I say that, but HSR are also broke. So this might be a bit of an evenly matched round here.
Depends. It's still going to be match point from here on out.
Yeah.
Wildfire Sphinx cannot afford to make a single mistake. And if you take a look at the economy, ultimate economy right now, Key has her harnessry, Plucky has her knives, Kachal, you can kind of discount that one. But the main thing is, it's not going to be an easy fight at all. I mean, Plucky, she can't afford to, maybe even lose her Vandal because she's got knives. But right now, WFX trying to make a play in towards mid doors. Kiki, that's a nice opening frag. The Seekers go on out as well. And then Plucky misses her knives. Kachao trying to hold on for dear life. Won't be able to find anything. And Kiki just goes in non-stop. Even spots Key out. Sprays her down. Doesn't connect it though. Key shuts her down with a Guardian headshot. Down to a 2v2. Spike has been planted. Punish
that's a bit
Fury
late.
a little bit all too late. But Minji in from mid doors. The quick double headshot. The triple kill in this round. And Hashira have closed this down. It's a 13-8.
13-8 Hashira. This is a map pick for a reason. They did stumble in a few rounds here and there. The pistol going to the side of WFX gave them a few more rounds as well. But ultimately, I think the story of Breeze has been very Hashira dominated for sure. They looked good here, definitely.
Very, very good. I mean, so many rounds, especially even on attack, they're pushing out mid. They know all these spots, and especially on the first half on defense. I think once they start to make the adaptations in towards how Wildfire Sphinx has been setting themselves up, sometimes they had Xerath in towards mid doors, Scherzinga with her, cheeky little walls as well. They start to figure those things out, and it gives them that little edge over. So they got like a 7-5. And then Wildfire Sphinx on the attack, I think it just kind of falls a little bit short. There were rounds where they just maybe overthought themselves. Declaration with a deep pushes in towards B, and you just kind of get the team separated here and there.
Yeah, definitely. It was a little bit back and forth in a few rounds, but at the end of the day, I was very impressed with the showing that we got from Hashira out of Breeze there. If they keep up this tempo, if they keep up this momentum going to Icebox, like we mentioned earlier on, it is entirely possible that we see a reverse sweep here. But then again, Icebox is, of course, going to be Wildfire Sphinx's map pick. So, I mean, I'm kind of expecting them to have better executes here yet again. But like what we've seen from Breeze, I mean, Breeze and Icebox are not too dissimilar in terms of how the maps play out. There's a lot of these long-range duos coming in, which could entirely favor Hashira. So, I don't know. I'm not sure who's gonna win this one, but I know it's gonna be intense, and I know it's gonna be a bloodbath. So I'm hyped for map 3.
I certainly am as well. I mean, thinking about how these maps are going to go, we're not quite sure. We haven't seen these teams too much. But one thing you can say for sure is that this is what's on stake. I mean, to qualify for FSL Elite, you got to be top 3 in the FSL Opens. These teams, maybe not quite there because they're still kind of, newly formed. But they're fighting for that placement on the leaderboard, and right now, Wildfire Sphinx are actually a little bit ahead over Hashira. Hashira is, I think, around 15. Wildfire Sphinx, I'm not too sure, but whoever wins this, kicking the other team out of this tournament, they certainly will be able to place themselves further ahead. So this comes down to bragging rights, and that's what you're fighting for. So let us know in the chat, the comments, who are you rooting for? Is it Wildfire Sphinx, or is it going to be Hashira? Because I am not too sure.
It's hard to call for sure. I can see Icebox going either way. It's anyone's game. It's who has the form, who is the star players on fire. And with that said, we're going to be going to a quick break. But when we come back, it's going to be the third and final map of the day, Icebox, between these two teams.
And welcome back, folks, to the VCT Game Changers Southeast Asia FSL Valorant Circuit, brought to you by Intel as well as Yahoo. We just saw it's Breeze, it's Wildfire Sphinx, it's Hashira, but Hashira Infinite won over that one, and of course that was their map pick after all. Right now we're in towards Icebox. We're your casters, Hamquack, and with me is the handsome Omo. I mean, I don't know what to say about Breeze, because it looked a little bit chaotic. Yeah, there is a lot going on, but you see these rounds, you see players like Japips, lighting up the kill feed. You got players like Minji, a lot of them, in fact, just pulling off these interesting positional plays. And then when it comes to gunfire, Hashira started out to perform a little bit better than WFX. So, I don't know, anything to say about that?
Yeah, firstly, let's take a look at the fraggers here. Japips and Kiki, both of them sitting atop the leaderboards by a big margin, 400 combat score, double the next closest player on her team is going to be Jump Hips with 30 bombs here. I think that was a very impressive performance from her. She put on a clinic. Kiki as well had some very valiant attempts, 3Ks, 4Ks in a bunch of rounds, and also so far ahead of her next closest teammate. So I think Breeze, while Hashira looked very comfortable and looked very at home on the map pick, definitely star players were a big part of the story there as well. And ultimately succeeding without the Sage in Breeze, I think says a lot about how comfortable they are on the map, where Sage is kind of like, I wouldn't say crutch, but it makes the map a lot easier to play.
It certainly does at times, but you're also seeing Hashira. I'm not too sure about the Cypher still. I mean, there are times when it's debatable about how effective that agent can be, but these tripwires, these cyber cages, they are actually quite effective at kind of sussing out a little bit of information. The camera as well, once they get the spike planted, it actually works out for Hashira. On the other hand, Sage, aside from those walls where you want to just buy that little bit of time, block off A cave or B main, it works out. But aside from that, pushing on the offense, we don't see it that much unless you're trying to wall off maybe, mid doors once you have the spike under control.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the thing that happens. But you know what? That's Breeze. We're next going into its icebox. Yeah, the present, or rather the near future, right?
The near
this
future,
is another
yes.
map, but yeah. You mentioned, long range duels. This is another map that has a little bit of that. I mean, what do you think? Wildfire Sphinx? Hashira?
Well, I think there's two sides of the coin to this, right? The long-range duels, we think that that's going to favor Hashira generally, and we did see on Breeze that they did do pretty well in that sense. But I think if we call back to Ascent and where Wildfire Sphinx really succeeded was in their executes and the way they just, burst onto the sides using the rays. I think that was really the key to their success. And with how the structure of Icebox is, executes are definitely very possible here. If you have some formulas that you're used to running, that you've drilled in a couple of games, I can completely see Wildfire Sphinx succeeding on offense here yet again. And if I'm not wrong, they are gonna be starting the map out on offense because Hashira did choose defense. So we can see, I think if we see Wildfire Sphinx really find success with their executes, they can take this map home. But if they kind of falter and the tempo goes the way of Hashira, I can see them running away with this one as well. So this is going to be a really hard one to call. I can completely see either of these teams taking it. I know it's very wishy-washy when cast to say this, but genuinely, I cannot tell you who's going to win this.
Yeah, it definitely is a big toss-up. But, just for the sake of logic, I guess, taking a look at statistics, you don't really see Wildfire Sphinx playing this map. Actually, you don't see Wildfire Sphinx that much at all. So I'm going to have to go with Hashira on this one because this is, even though it is a Wildfire Sphinx map pick, Hashira does have quite a bit of experience on this map.
Yes.
It's kind of like what Illustrato said during the desk segment, that all these three maps are maps that Hashira actually are quite comfortable on. So I think aside from the size on which they are starting, it's like a set, right?
Lost Ascent, so it's completely winnable here for Wildfire Sphinx.
Big toss.
I'm gonna take the other side here. I'm gonna go against Mr. Hey, I'm Quack. I feel like I might regret this, but I'm going in the side of Wildfire Sphinx, and we'll have to see how this one plays out. We are heading into Agent Select between these two teams, though, and let's see how this one goes.
Fair enough. That's the thing. Agents can be a very, very important thing about how the maps and the rounds will shape out. So, interestingly enough,
Zareth back on the race.
Yeah, Zareth back on the Rays. Earlier she was Jet. This time Rays maybe looking to pull off the same space creating plays that she did, but who knows how it's going to play out because this time she's lacking someone like Luna on Sky. In fact, her only form of flashes, I'd say, would be, I think, Kiki on the Reyna.
Kiki on Arena, I think that's something that we see a lot here in FSL, right? We do typically tend to see a lot of teams rely purely on Arena just as the sole flash, and I know that that's something Marky talks about a lot. The lack of hard flashes can come back to bite these teams. But with that said, I feel like the sides in Icebox, especially the A side, is confined enough that just the use of the Arena Eye might be enough here.
It could be. It could be. I mean, agent composition right now is fairly similar. Both controllers are Viper. The only difference being, I guess, maybe the Rays being swapped over for Arena. Other than that, it's all the same. So it really comes down to what you're comfortable with, I guess.
Yeah, I think comfort is very important, definitely. I mean, you can talk about what's optimal on each map, but at the end of the day, whatever agent you're more comfortable with, I think is serviceable enough.
Rays and Jet actually is the difference, but yeah. So it's kind of odd to me a little bit that Hashira, you know, their players are kind of swapping roles here and there. Kachao earlier, you know, first map she was Jet, second map she was the Cypher, and now she's back on the Jet. But you know what? If it works for you, it works. Whatever you're comfortable with. Wildfire Sphinx though, looks like they want to head towards A, and maybe this is the explosive start that they need. But Xerath heading towards the top of Nest is maybe not the most comfortable spot, but Lucky definitely able to hold them off just for a couple more seconds. In fact, she's going to use this wall to push herself up and towards the deep corner. Pushes out at the very last second.
Yeah, she decides against that. Shazinga though, you gotta use the wall to just come in and get the block down.
Spike planted.
And the spike actually gets planted. Shazinga doing her thing, doing her job. And of course securing the site for her team. Now they don't quite have to worry about the backside not much anymore, but he all the way from Raptors is still deadly. They're actually able to win out in these duels. They push in, they are overwhelming the Wildfire Sphinx players, and all of a sudden the targets swing in the factor
I have
Luna.
no idea what's going on. I have no idea what's going on. If you ask me, I couldn't tell you, but Wildfire Sphinx, they take the first pistol round of Icebox. Once again, a 5v5 bloodbath. This is like the third time we've seen this on a pistol round.
Yeah. When you're watching these two teams, a lot of them, there's a slight difference compared to teams like Galaxy Racer, Renatus White, Alter Ego Celeste, of course. Sometimes it looks like they're a little bit eager to get kills. That's why they're pushing into very aggressively into these open positions, right? Towards the top of the rope, maybe even in towards maze right now as well. And you're just seeing them going for these gunfights back to back. And at the same time, it's a little bit tough to observe. So you're not quite sure what's happening, but you can definitely tell that a lot of players are sustaining a lot of damage. So it turns out into a brawl, and sometimes, you know, the better gun marksman wins, and that's Wildfire Sphinx for now. But here we go. They're slowing things down this time.
Yeah, a bit of a fake out coming in from Wildfire Sphinx. Declaration actually shot out the Silver Dart towards A, and they're just going to rotate all the way around back to B. They have 4 members here right now up against Minji by her lonesome. Don't think she suspects it just yet. There we go. The Viper wall comes down, and she gets caught out.
Well-timed leer from Kiki, completely blind, and then the swing happens as well. Right now, she's gonna get spotted out by Japips, though.
Ooh,
at the same time, Xerath coming in from mid. Now you have to be very, very cautious about your side flank as well, and it's just going to be a flawless execution from Wildfire Sphinx.
Xerath and Kiki, I would say, are definitely standing out to me from the side of Wildfire Sphinx. When they are on the ball, they are really on the ball, and they really get a lot of these frags, and they're so aggressive as well, which I think is a large part of the success on offense from Wildfire Sphinx. So it's nice to see them be able to, you know, just run and control the side. But as a whole, Wildfire Sphinx, I think their attack and their timings on their pushes is just impeccable. I mean, yeah, like, they were very clean in that round. They just waited for the right timing, and they just blasted in. Minji had no idea what hit her.
Definitely not, but this time with the full buys, they should expect a lot more. So playing a little bit more cautiously, they don't want to lose their rifles just yet. They're going to try to get as much information as possible. This time going in with a peek in towards B alley forces Xerath off, and at this point, they should know that it's going to be an A hit, but they don't expect Kiki to come in from mid.
Oh.
Of course, though, Kiki does not expect anyone to be up towards Boiler as well. That's her other key. And she gets taken out. It's a 4v4 right now, and we're kind of starting to see a little bit of a replay from Ascent. Another bit of a full-on retake versus retake action. Clara gets... She takes one player out, though, so...
Yeah, Plucky got a bit too ambitious there, pushing through the smoke into the hands of 3 waiting Spectres. It's not really where you want to be, and it's going to be a 4v3. The retake's not going to be easy here for Hashira, given that Wildfire Sphinx are now putting up ones. Oh, I say that, but they take up 2.
Oh, she went in for the weapon swap, and that just bit her in the back. He gets taken out, but Luna right now...
Teamwork.
Trying to ring around the Rosie. Kachao holding the defuse. No, Luna.
Yeah. I love this from Hashira. I love that they don't beg. When they go for the defuse, they just go for the defuse. And I think that that's exactly what you should be doing in these situations. Whereas if you let your opponent just run you around in the post plant, you tend to lose more often than not.
Yeah, I mean, when you got a teammate watching your back, you just yell, cover me, and then they put a nice warm blanket over you. And then you get to defuse the spike. So 2-1, and this is the standard start that, we're also comfortable with. Wildfire Sphinx coming back in with the full buy. Hopefully this time after they get the post plants, they don't just leave it unchecked. But Hashira actually going aggressively down mid. Does Wildfire Sphinx know this?
Look at this, it's gonna be a 5v5 towards B right now, yet again. Why are there so many members of Hashira over here?
Oh my god, it's a huge standoff. As soon as the toxic screens drop, they're hiding behind the yellow cargo box.
It's actually a 5v5 yet again. But Wildfire Sphinx, you haven't committed anything yet. You can just back off and go plant towards A.
I would back off,
I don't think they quite know that it's 5.
Yeah, they seem so adamant on going through this, and then they get shut down. That's 2 players instantly gone, but Zereth makes it a trade. They're hunting down these kills. Kiki actually able to use her absorb though. Back to its 100 HP. It's down to the 3v3 right now. They have quite a bit of time. Still adamant on pushing in towards B. Maybe thinking twice right now. Toxic screen gets dropped from Minji. And now it comes back up from Luna. Showstopper getting deployed from Zereth. She's trying to do her thing. Instead, it's going to be Kiki who steals away that kill. Poison Orb on towards the spike now. Zereth just holds the angle. Instant snap on towards Minji. Gets the frag, but then Plucky comes back. Coming in from Snowman now.
Plucky nearly finds her there. I think the last pack might have saved her life. Oh, this is so annoying to deal with. 5 post plants.
20 seconds left now. Maybe even less. Luna hears it. Gets it off at halfway. Oh no!
Oh, Plucky!
Misses his spray! Luna!
A little bit of a choke there coming in from Luna. It's a bit unfortunate. She had the post plant set up, but I think she used her toxins a little bit too early there. Ultimately, they did manage to find the plant on the side of Wildfire Sphinx, but they kind of falter in the post plant yet again. They get outside, they get the bombs. It was a 5v5 stare down like you mentioned, but at the end of the day, I feel like Wildfire Sphinx, where they're really faltering, is securing the post plants.
If you actually take a look, if there was a slow-mo replay, you would see that Luna actually started firing first. The only thing is that her straight shooting wasn't as sharp as it should be. That kind of cost her the kill, but right now, Kachao going in ever so aggressively, missing most of her knives. She gets taken out. Luna and Zereth and Scherzinga right now, just going on an absolute tear. They should have control over the A site, but the spike is all the way at the back. Are they still going in for this?
The whole site is just covered in util right now, and I can't even tell which belongs to who. But that's gonna be Wildfire Sphinx getting the plot soon enough, as soon as Shazinga makes a way over the spike.
Okay,
Zereth gets one down. So very aggressive yet again, and will close out the round with 5 HP to spare.
It's starting to look a lot like deathmatch. I mean, yeah, maybe that Hashira probably on the eco, but it's so aggressive. She was down to 5 HP. It's 3-2 right now, and Hashira has to save. This is not looking too good for these girls.
It's not looking great indeed, but of course it is still early in the map. 3-2, of course this is gonna be a match point here. For whoever takes this match, a map is gonna win the whole match. A lot of M words coming out, but yeah, the idea is there. This is an elimination match in lower bracket as well, so both the tournament lives on the line. Chow gets forced out, gets bring down.
And Xerath just, again, setting up an OP up on towards the yellow cargo box. Falls down now. Hunter's Fury, you know, I saw it, I wanted to call it, but I thought that she probably should have saved it for the next round when they full bot, but instead they deployed it, and now they're just kind of getting punished. Wildfire Sphinx with the firepower just goes in and find all the frags necessary. It's down to a 4-2. And this is, you know, it's still early game, but Hashira is kind of slipping up a little bit.
Definitely
Hashira, did you see? She usually is at the top of the scoreboard. This time she has a 0-6.
Yeah, it's not a great start for her. I think she might have spent a bit too much energy there on Breeze to really just hard carry her team. But I think Hashira as a team, from what we've seen, momentum plays a lot for them. On Ascent, when they were winning, they were pushing out aggressively, they were winning hard, and when they started losing, they just started faltering completely. And same story on Breeze, when they started winning, they were just dominating the map. We're starting to see Hashira here falter on Icebox, and we really need to see Japips kind of get into the tempo of things. Oh my goodness, Zerif.
Oh my god.
Everyone runs.
Knives out, running away. Oh! Jump Pips using the railing to cover her. He takes Xerath down.
This could be it. This could be what Japips needs.
Viper's Pit, though. This is Tanya's favorite thing. The domain expansion from Luna. It's going to make it a lot more difficult for Hashira to retake this, but still they're going in for it. A lot of gunfire being sounded off right now, suppressing the Wildfire Sphinx players. They fall back, they push back in, they get taken out, and then Kiki, who was right underneath her nose the whole time, takes Japips out. This is a 5-2 now, and it's just so utterly chaotic.
Yeah, these rounds are just chaos. Japips finding 2 in that round. Hopefully it starts to get a little bit of wind under her sails here. We saw her pop the ultimate as soon as she got the first frag there onto I believe that was Xerath, and I think she was starting to feel herself a little bit there. Maybe wanted to run with the tempo, as I think we're going to a bit of a pause here. There we go. Tactical timeout for Hashira, giving Japip, I think, some time to breathe. They really need to reset. They really need the momentum. They are a team that relies, like we mentioned, constantly about the momentum. You know, they really need to get going.
A much needed tactical timeout. I mean, you have to think, they are on defense. The past 2 or 3 rounds, they've been pushing down mid. And as soon as, I think, Wildfire Sphinx hears these footsteps, they just recognize that, you know what, the side is kind of clear. Let's just rush in for it. And even if it isn't clear, we got someone like Xerath who is so aggressive, so sharp right now. It's okay. They just walk in. And it's just not the best thing in the world for Hashira. So they really got to take a second, take a breather, think about, do we really want to keep pushing down mid? How should we play this instead? Right now, a little bit of a half-ish buy, and they're holding a little bit more defensively, something more preferred. Question is, though, is it actually going to work with a half buy?
Yeah, with a half buy, this might not be the best round for them. Maybe they should have held their tactical timeout till after the eco round when they go for the full buys, but that's all right. Hopefully it gives them a little bit of some aggression coming out of HSR here. Maybe they talked about it a little bit during the break. They said we need to readjust and go back to what we were successful
with.
Oh my
god.
Not quite gonna matter though. Xerath just blasted.
Absolutely kicks down the door. FBI, open up. This site is mine. And the spike gets planted by Sherzinga in a fairly open spot, which means it's just that much more difficult for Hashira to defuse. They're coming in from mid, though, and that is the spot that favors them. Still, though, paint shells to block them off. Plucky trying to do her thing from Hut. It's definitely not an easy fight at all, and you certainly see WFX walking away with this win.
Yeah, and HSR getting slaughtered here with the pistols. They need to just readjust after the pistol round, accept that, okay, we caught the tactical timeout, whatever we discussed, we need to put that into practice after this round. Japips gets 1, but that's going to be the end of it. And WFX, 6 and 2, they're starting to run away with this one. HSR, let's see what they can do on the rifle.
Oh man, they really need this.
Yeah,
I mean, they're playing defense. They've been even pushing out of B garage in the previous round. It's a little bit all too telegraphed for Wildfire Sphinx. They know exactly where the Hashira players are coming from, and that's why they're able to find all these frags so easily. Xerath is just, I mean, doing an incredible job as an entry fragger as well. So, oh, look at your minimap, Omo. Hashira just pushing down mid again. Okay, slowing things off. They just wanted to put the wall up, I guess?
Yeah, we see them just retreating back to the A side after going for some early info down a mid.
Okay.
We see a very widespread for now still from Wildfire Sphinx. That's been the story of Icebox for them so far, not committing to either side really hard. Ka-chow!
Oh my
Lightning
god.
McQueen's there all the way right back around, but Zara picks that one up.
Yeah.
She just drifts in, she sees someone in the corner, and she's like, alright, peace out.
Oh my god. Still though, Minji is able to find one, denies B. The spike is getting pushed up towards A. Shazinga's the only one on site. I mean, not Shazinga, Plucky. Here we go. In towards screens. Don't quite know where the WFX players are positioned. The wall is just there to stop them as well. Res does go up though, so it is a 5v4.
Yeah. It is still a winnable round. They have the post plants in action here.
Oh!
Okay, Japips, that's what we talked about. They really need to find the footing. Japips really needs to find some tempo, find some momentum. And the biggest question for me is why Wildfire Sphinx was so aggressive in peaking when the defuse hasn't even come true.
Yeah. Here's the question in mind. You're seeing a lot of these. Okay, at this point, looking at the X's on towards the A side, where they died, it's very linear. You can basically draw a line in between the two teams, and when you see that, you just know that they're taking a lot of these aim duels, even on the side of Wildfire Sphinx. Once you get the spike planted, you could hold post plant, you could hold off angles instead, you could maybe even hide behind pillars and boxes and then come in with a pre-aimed peek. But instead, it's a lot of these linear duels between both teams, and this time, Hashira are the ones who come out on top. They have the utility to back them up as well, and right now, other effects thinking of going in towards B, Ka-chow with an angle. Yeah. You can't quite repeat all of these plays again and again. Toxic screen is up as well, and it's the same 2 toxic screens that we saw earlier on.
Don't quite believe the plant is in quite yet. Yeah, it's not. So this is exactly the same situation. The stare down between both of these teams, but this time around, it's Hashira coming out on top. WFX, they're not giving up just yet, though. The revive comes in. Ka-chow is very ambitious.
Oh, okay, Plucky. Could actually be able. No! A little bit too antsy. They just keep pushing in and out and in and out, and then Xerath goes in with a showstopper! Connects onto Japips.
I can't help but feel like there was a bit of troll there from Hashira. They had them pinned down behind yellow boxes. They just needed to wait, just needed to hold the corners, hold the ankles, and kill them when they peek. They need to come to you to plant the bomb, not the other way around. But a little bit too ambitious there from Hashira. Sees them get punished by Wildfire Sphinx. 7 and 3. They're looking definitely in the driver's seat for this one.
Like, this is a problem that I feel myself as a player as well. Sometimes you just see your performance on the scoreboard and you're thinking, this is not good, I need to get more kills. You just keep pushing up and up and up the same sage wall deep in towards bottom mid, and it kind of forces Wildfire Sphinx back in towards A. We've seen this happen 2-3 rounds already, and there's no one from Hashira on the A side to stop the plant.
Here we go. The plant is coming down from Shazinga. It's going to be a 5v5 once again. We see this a lot from Hashira. They will just play for 5-man retakes. Not going to work out this time. Ka-chow drops.
Oh. Still A number of trades. We're back into towards the 3v3. Key down to 1 HP. Gonna get taken out by Luna. Minji coming in with a big flank though. Might just be enough. Japips needs to stay alive in order for this flanking to come into full effect. Oh, but Scherzinga might have spotted her with a fade away. Minji saw her as well. Goes in, gets the first headshot. Luna takes Japips down. Minji bursts Luna away though. Down into 1v1. There's not enough time, and Xerath with the crouch just makes Minji miss her shots, and of course, walking away with that round 8 win. It's 8-3 right now, and Wildfire Sphinx, they're winning these duels. They're a little bit more patient than Hashira.
Yeah, I think looking at the KDAs kind of tells a little bit of a story here, right? Like when we were on Ascent and Wildfire Sphinx were winning, you had Xerath and Kiki. When we were on Breeze, Xerath wasn't quite finding the frags, but Kiki was on fire, and that made it close for Wildfire Sphinx. Hashira though, when Japips is not performing, there's no one else to pick up the slack. It seems like that's the problem here. Japips is not fragging, and no one else is. So Hashira just losing these rounds.
Definitely a little bit of that. At the same time, it's just I'm not quite liking the positioning and all these duels right now. They should be playing a little bit more defensively, and this time, if they stay still, that might just be it. Hunter's Fury gets deployed as well, and it's definitely going to tag a couple of Wildfire Sphinx players. In fact, tags more than one. Look at how low Xerath is right now. Declaration getting taken out as well. That's big value for that Hunter's Fury. This is the round that they need. This is the flawless victory for Hashira. Where was it this whole time?
Just as the swap comes around too, hopefully this gives them some tempo going into the pistol. We'll have to see if Hashira can find the pistol and maybe some rounds to follow that up. Then maybe we can see a little bit of a comeback start happening. But honestly, it's far from likely. I would say Wildfire Sphinx, they just look on fire right now. Xerath, I think she's definitely the stand-up performer of the whole series on Ascent, and now yet again on Icebox, just so aggressive and so dominant.
Yeah. Fun fact, did you know, I think Xerath used to stream or play, and also she has casted Fortnite before. So maybe a little bit of that shooter experience coming in.
Yeah,
here,
a little bit of the mobility, a little bit of the XY axis coming in.
XY axis, yeah, that's one of the bigger things as well. But here we go. This time, Wildfire Sphinx on the defense. They are already leading this push. It slowed down the push. And take a look at your minimap. Kiki is coming in from the back. She took Minji down. The rest of the squad have no choice but to push up forward. And at the same time, Wildfire Sphinx, they're just backing up. Let them get the spike planted, and then we play retakes.
Yeah, this seems to be a page out of Hashira's playbook here. Wildfire Sphinx, it's gonna be a 5-4 right now. How are they gonna approach this one?
When you have the numbers advantage, it's a little bit better, but you still have to be careful. I like the angle that Japips is holding, as well as Kachao with the Frenzy, playing these CQB duels. It's starting to work. She gets a double. She gets the third!
Nice shot.
And that is going to be Kiki, the last one left alive, coming in from the back. They have to be careful still, though. About 20
I wouldn't
seconds
count
left
Kiki
on the
out of this one.
spike. Kachao going in from the side. Misses. 6 rounds left, and that's going to be Plucky taking the kill away. 8-5 now. It's Hashira starting to do a little bit better now that they're holding these angles.
Yeah, that was a nice round coming in from Kachao with the Frenzy. Does a lot of work, finds the headshots, finds the taps. And it's gonna be the pistol heading to Hashira. This is what we talked about, right? They need to start finding not only the pistol, but a couple of rounds to follow that one up. And it starts here, right? The journey of 13 rounds starts with one pistol. So we have to see what Hashira can do right now. Kachao, will she be the one to step up for the team when Japips is not quite finding the frags?
Maybe. She's still holding on to her Frenzy, though. Wildfire Sphinx looking to contest control over green right now. They're standing their ground, and Xerath is actually hiding right underneath. Takes Kachao out, but then Japips and Minji just push forward. They find 2 quick frags. Luna makes it a trade. We're down in towards a 3v3.
3 right now. It is gonna be in the favor of Hashira, I would say, but then again, they're really low on health, so you know what, I'm gonna flip-flop a little bit. It's in the favor of Wildfire Sphinx. They're gonna get the wall down from Hashira. What can they really do right now? Scherzinga has a big flank, though. Oh, she gives herself away too early.
Yeah, didn't quite like that, but she still has the
Nice.
advantage. The rest of the team needs to push in along with this right now, and they will be able to get it.
Oh,
Scherzinga with the
3K.
triple kill secures the win for her team. And that is beautiful positioning. I mean, you got
Yep.
players from the site just delaying anyone from coming in to watch the flank, and then Scherzinga securing all those kills.
Yeah, she gave herself away a little bit early right there, but it doesn't quite matter because her positioning, her angle, together with the setup from the team, just was too effective in this situation. She just pushes in to Key with the SMG, with the Spectre, and gets the last kill onto Plucky, who wasn't quite sure of where the flank was coming from. I think a little bit lost in the situation, and it's going to be a 9th round for Wildfire Sphinx here.
Just fast enough, but you gotta think, this really hurts Hashira because that was their round to win. They had the buys.
For sure.
And right now, economy broken, Wildfire Sphinx doing a lot better. They're actually able to play the defensive side a little bit more effective than Hashira. I mean, Hashira, because of the wall, I mean, the rest of the squad not enough firepower as well. They're very, very cautious about how they approach these long alleys, long angles. In fact, Chow gonna get spotted out. Paint shells in.
That's gonna hurt.
She's dead.
Yeah, just gets completely shut down by Xerath on this race, making great use of the boombot as well as the frag grenades to really just punish the positioning of Kachao. And this is looking like a play coming in from the side of Hashira right now. They know there's going to be at least the raise of Xerath on B side. Okay, now that's a good dot cap. That one was satisfying.
But it got shot down really, really quickly. So information was still kind of denied. But thankfully, Toxic Screen goes up. The spike will get planted. But then, Declaration as well as Kiki just death squad on towards the A site. Nothing much that Kiki could do except for push right around behind them. Finds a quick double kill, but it's not gonna be enough.
Yeah, and I think something I really want to bring up actually is series fatigue is a really real thing, because I feel like if this was game 1, if this was game 2 of the series, Japit peeks the corner, sees 2 there, she gets at least 1 of the Sheriff, I think. But in game 3, you know, everyone's a little bit tired, everyone's a little bit, you know, finding it harder to hit these shots. Can't blame Japit for faltering there. I think it's just important to note, like, playing these long best of 3s, especially with each map having been, you know, quite close to going the distance. I think it's starting to really wear on Hashira, and I think it's starting to show.
Maybe just a little bit, but just coming back into this, watching how they take the fights, they're taking it head on, and when you push in towards these linear angles, you're kind of giving your opponents the advantageous duel. So right now, again, timing not really their friend. The wall goes up, and a couple players drop dead as well. The spike, though, actually all the way towards the back of mid, they have the option to rotate. They're still just kind of firing more warning shots. Kachao actually finding Scherzinga. That would be pretty big value as well, but it's down to a 4v4. Not the best, not the worst. Kachao definitely pinned down.
Yeah, Kachao got pinned down, and that was a very rough situation to be in. 36 health right now with the Vandal. I don't really know what she can quite find going towards A, but of course she is just a fake out. She's just a distraction. The rest of the team, they're hitting B right now, and it works. She was effective enough. She caused enough havoc as a distraction that they do get the plant down on the side of Hashira. Very nice post-plant positioning from them as well. Just gonna run all the way back out. This might be a little bit too far out though.
Oh, I don't know, but the main thing is they got the spike down, and as long as they're able to play this post-plant, that would be good. Kiki, though, trying to make it difficult for them, pushes out towards yellow, finds the first, gets traded. Xerath comes in now as well, but then Kachao goes in. It's going to be a 2v2. They're holding it down, actually managing to stick the defuse, thanks to this toxic screen.
All right.
Oh my god.
That's a way to win the round, taking a page out of the books of Hashira. Pros don't fake, just stick the defuse. I want to point out Xerath right now, once again, 26 frags before this one is even over. Definitely putting on a little bit of a race clinic right now, doing a lot of work for her team. on the side of Wildfire Sphinx. Hashira, however, yeah, like we talked about, right? The individual players are not stepping up. It's been a long day for them. I can't blame them too much. It's tiring to play best of threes, and it looks to be like Wildfire Sphinx might just close this one out.
Maybe Hashira definitely need to make this round count because the economy might be broken on the next. And Chow with the Blade Storm as well. I'm not sure that's the best option, but still around pipe. She's looking for an angle onto one of the players. Just can't quite see anyone towards screen though. A lot of pressure and noise being made towards this A site, but all that is happening. There isn't quite much else anywhere on the map. Spike down. It's the same play. They're thinking of rotating, but at the same time, all players on Wildfire Sphinx are alive as well. They have the option to make some moves, and Kachao trying to pull off a bit of a bait and switch. This time she gets shut down. Spike will get planted on towards B, and then the Viper's Pit.
That's something.
Might be a bit better.
Yeah, that's something here for the side of Hashira right now. Kiki going very aggressive, gets caught out at the wrong time though. Everything just getting off the Empress as well. Not leaving anything to chance here for Hashira. Oh, God.
Serif! Showstopper! Connects? No, doesn't quite get anyone, but it's not even necessary. What? Just take a look at Luna Shazinga's declaration. Just playing it ever so carefully. They were
hovering, you'll miss it.
Hovering around the edge of the Viper's Pit and just playing it carefully. What?
Yeah, I don't really know what happened there. Blink and you'll miss it. Like the Viper's Pit gets dropped. It were in a 5v4, but somehow Wildfire Sphinx pulled that one out of the hat. I don't know how they did it, but that was a definitely very clutch round from them. Xerath didn't find anyone with the showstopper, but the rest of the members of Wildfire Sphinx, they found the frags when it mattered.
Yeah. I mean, at the very least, you think once that showstopper was activated, a lot of these Hashira players must have been scrambling. It's match point right now.
Ahead.
And, well, they're gonna buy whatever they can. Some on light shields. Kachao on the Guardian actually able to take Xerath down, though. That could be good enough. Still gotta be careful about approaching. Luna knows that there's at least one player in towards Hall. In towards two, and she spots the hit, pings it out for her team. Clara finds one as well. This could be devastating for Hashira.
Okay, and the plant is going down for Hashira. Map point and match point for Wildfire Sphinx, but Hashira, they want to say we're still in this one. Japips finds one, but traded back.
Okay. Luna is able to find one more as well. Down into a 2v2, fighting for their tournament lives right now, Hashira. Need to play this post plant to the max, hiding indoors. The Viper's pitch is making it all that much tougher. Oh, they actually found Luna. Kiki going in for it. She's caught out in the open. Key comes out, swinging from the yellow. Secures and keeps Hashira alive for one more round.
One more round. But they need to do that. Okay, math is not my strong suit once again, but they need to do that, I think, 6 more times. Do they have enough gas in the tank is the question right now for Hashira. It's hard to say. I feel like the answer is going to be a no, but I'm still rooting for them to really just try their best to pull this one to overtime. But Wildfire Sphinx, they're looking so hot right now. It's going to be a bit hard for Hashira to just shut down their momentum with just one round.
There is still that little bit of hope. Oh, what is this? A boosted wall spot. And this is certainly one that Hashira do not expect.
Yeah, no one's gonna expect this for sure. Oh, no. Xerath gives up on that position. That's fine.
Hashira, though, pushing out towards mid. Kachao already in towards kitchen now. This is something that I don't quite expect, but you gotta think, Plucky's the one with the spike, and she's in towards B. Garage, that is, and Kiki and Luna right now, the ones on the site. Zeroing from... Oh, Kachao might just have gotten spotted out. Tries to push him back towards yellow. Footsteps being heard. She dashes away. Guardian will not connect, and Luna takes her down. Plucky trying to push out a yellow. They will take Luna away.
2v3.
Recovering the Vandal right now. They should be able to get the spike planted, but Xerath with the one tap takes Plucky away. Paint shells onto side as well, just to deny the spike retrieve. Minji goes in and takes her down though. Trezinga now 1v2. Minji down to 2 HP. This is still quite doable. Oh, the plant is going in. Radiant Knight creates a wall bangable. She just pushes up forward and Trezinga gets punished.
2 HP for Minji as well. It was so close. Maybe if she stuck with trying to bang the box over there, it could have been done. But a little bit unfortunate. Hashira starting to string some rounds together. Like we said earlier though, they need 5 more of these. Do they have the gas? Do they have what it takes to really drag this one out to overtime? Now we're gonna see, I think, a bit of a half buy coming in from Wildfire Sphinx here. So we're probably gonna see one more for Hashira.
We should, right? That's what we're thinking, but who knows? So far, so good. The way that they're playing a little bit more passive, a little bit more carefully, but Kachao again very aggressively pushing deep underneath tube right now. I think someone spotted her out. She got legged, and that could be very dangerous. Oh man, and then Chapeeps tries to push past that as well. You know that there are players up towards spoiler, so you get punished. That's another headshot, another kill as well. Luna down to 5 HP. This is disastrous for Hashira. What is going on? The ghosts are that deadly?
The ghosts are extra effective here today. We thought they wouldn't be able to do it because they were on an eco, but maybe this is the round that Wildfire Sphinx needs to close this one out.
Out of all the rounds, the one where they have a thrifty, this should not be happening. He's got to stay alive, but won't be able to. Declaration just putting the final nail in the coffin using a sheriff, of all things. 13-7. Who knew? Against, I mean, Wildfire Sphinx, I don't know. Ghost types are that effective against Hashira.
They won the rounds against the 4-buys, but against the pistols are the ones where they can't close it out. That's really something, it's a bit unfortunate for Hashira. They were starting to find the momentum, starting to maybe find, some rounds in the half to bring themselves back, but I think it's a bit too little too late right there. And ultimately, that's going to be Wildfire Sphinx in a 3-map series, closing that one out at the end of the day. And they are going to be, they're going to keep their hopes and dreams alive for one more day.
Yeah, and that's a pretty impressive thing. I mean, some people, I don't know, but you might be thinking, okay, these girls, and a lot of them are streamers, or at least they started out in their, I guess, career as a streamer, but then now participating in VCT Game Changers Southeast Asia, or the FSL Valorant circuit, they're actually able to frag out, they're actually able to play and compete at this level, and they're winning. That is awesome. I mean, it's just round of applause for them, but at the same time, commiserations to Hashira, but they need to go back to the drawing board because that final round should not have happened. It should not have happened.
Yeah. I mean, we saw that in Ascent as well, right? Some rounds that were in the bag for them, they just weren't able to close out because they're just like messing up in the silliest places. It hurts to say, but honestly, when they're on fire, they look really good, but they do tend to slip up and make these careless mistakes occasionally.
Yeah, you gotta. It's a first-person shooter, yes, but you gotta play it a little bit more tactically. It's not always about aiming and shooting. You gotta think about your positions as well. But
think about checking the right angles.
Yeah. Still, though, you're starting to see that. Yeah, both sides, they're actually kind of fairly evenly matched. I mean, this was the closest game that we've had pretty much so far. I mean, I wanted to say all day, but counting yesterday's games as well, all of yesterday's games were 2-0s. This was the only one that went to a map 3, so not too bad. But unfortunately, that is it for Hashira in the FSL Open 6. Maybe we'll see them again in overtime. Who knows? But
it's likely.
Yeah, that's
they had some
for now.
shining moments. If they really buckle down and focus on what is successful and what fails for them, I have hopes for this team to come back.
Yeah, well, we're just going to have to hope and wish that they'll perform a lot better. I mean, I don't mean to rag on Hashira at all, but yeah, they need to do a little bit of work.
They have the potential. That's why we rag on them.
Yeah. Yeah. Rag on your friends, and then maybe they'll do better. But that's going to be that for now. That's the end of the games for today. But after this quick break, it's going to be Tanya, it's going to be Leonard, Omo, and they're going to talk to you about maybe just a quick recap of what happened today, maybe a couple updates on the other games that are happening on the other streams as well. That's right, we got other streams, I think, on YouTube as well as Twitch FSL_TH. That's a Thai stream. And you got other teams. You got Galaxy Racer. You got Oasis Gaming who are playing today as well. And I want to know how those games are going. So don't go away. Don't touch your browser. Do not click that X. Stay here, and we'll come back with updates.
Hello, everybody, and if you're seeing me for the third time today, it means that you've stuck around. Wise choice. We are the final panel for today here at VCT Game Changers Southeast Asia FSL Open 6 Playoffs, a tournament circuit that's dedicated to growing the competitive women's gaming scene here in the region, proudly sponsored to you by Intel, supported by Yahoo. And we are finally at the end of day 2, and we just watched round 1 of the lower bracket, where Wildfire Sphinx managed to edge out Hashira 2-1. And I'm your host, Tanya May, joining me for the last time today, but for the first time for us, because I don't think I've hosted you before, Omo.
Yeah, it's the first
Long
time
time
for us
friend
together.
and esports veteran, Leonard Omo. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on the desk. Yeah, this is my favorite part of the segments, actually, by the way. Like, casting is not the fun part. This is the fun part.
We're very honored. So recap of the first map where we saw both teams on ascent, and I think you pointed something out that was very clear that Hashira just couldn't get mid control. And Wildfire Sphinx actually on the defense they started to ramp up because for some reason when they became aggressive on the defense, that's where they got rounds.
Yeah, on the offense, I think it was very structured, right? Where they succeeded, like we talked about a lot, was the executes. Other than that, when it got a bit free-form, free-flowing, they didn't really have a lot of success with that. However, on the defense, I mean, I think Valorant as well as a lot of FPSs are very like tempo-based games. So when Wildfire Sphinx started finding these frags on defense, they really went crazy. And a lot of that was off the backs of Xerath and Kiki. Yeah, like props to them. They did a lot of work, especially like the round that sticks out in my mind is the one where Kiki just peeks mid and just taps a headshot on one of the members of Hashira on high mid right there, and that really just solidified, or rather started the ball rolling on defense there for Wildfire Sphinx.
Yeah, and they also pushed out on B main, just really catching Hashira off guard. And the two duelists there, I mean, they have just stepped up throughout the series.
Yes.
And going to the next... Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the story as well, right? Like, Hashira are reliant on one person, one duelist fragging. When that doesn't happen, they kind of start to falter, like we saw in the last map. We see two of them on the side of Wildfire Sphinx, so, 2 beats 1, it's kind of quick math, yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately for Hashira, but they did manage to get one map off, which is their map choice, and that was Breeze. And honestly, they looked a lot more comfortable there. Like, compared to Ascent and Icebox, it wasn't their map choice, but yeah, it really was down to Breeze, where Japips was on fire. It was the Reyna versus Reyna dual battles. I mean, that was so intense.
Yeah, for sure. Japip with 412 combat score, like that one really just tells the story of the map. Japips was just finding out these frags.
Over 400.
Yeah, it's actually over 400.
Oh my
and it's pretty insane. Yeah, honestly, pretty insane. But I can't really blame Japips for running out of steam a bit on Icebox at the end of the data as well. It's been a very long day. Like, it's almost 11 o'clock where we are. I mean, basically everywhere in C, it's getting really late, right? Yeah, it's getting late. People are tired. BO3s are really exhausting to play. And Japips has been doing so much work, so I can't really blame her when she starts to run out of steam. That's where the rest of the teammates need to pick up the slack, yeah.
And 400, if you look at the numbers just now, everyone else was only at 200. So she was double and really like carrying her entire team on Breeze. And finally on Icebox, unfortunately, I think just everyone on Hashira ran out on steam. Even though we say like they're a more experienced team, they've done this a few rounds already on FSL Opens. And yet, it was down to Xerath again on that race. I mean, she really was on fire.
Yeah, she's terrifying on that race for sure. She just like blast packs into the side, out somebody, like just scares everyone off. But honestly, I think Wildfire Sphinx as a whole, as a team, that's a good thing about them, right? They play as a team, everyone does their jobs, everyone can find frags. Although, Xerath stands out, Kiki stands out, but everyone does their job, and I think that's why they succeeded here today, and they will keep progressing on in the lower bracket.
And again, you see the numbers of over 400 combat
Yeah,
score, while
it's quite
everyone
insane.
else pays in comparison. So we saw a lot of hard carrying this series.
Yeah.
Also, for the teams, who are going to go up against Wildfire Sphinx tomorrow, so because they have advanced to the next round, Hashira are out, they are actually going to face up against Oasis Gaming Aqua.
Yeah, that's not gonna be an easy matchup. Oasis Gaming Aqua, they lost 2-0 to Galaxy Racer, but I'm being told that it was a very close one, and we even had overtime in one of the maps. So Galaxy Racer, I would think they're one of the best teams at FSL.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, like in my head, the top three, the top four is probably something like A Celeste, Renatus, Galaxy Racer, Oasis. These are probably the top teams. So it's not
Yes.
gonna be an easy task at all for Wildfire Sphinx to go up against Oasis. And I would say that this is actually their biggest trial, because if you look at the matches that they've played so far, right? AE Celeste, they lost to AE Celeste. Yeah, everyone loses to AE Celeste, right? But when they beat Hashira here today, like in a 2-1, like it doesn't really mean as much as if you take down one of the top teams. So if they can
Absolutely.
take down Oasis tomorrow, or at least put up a really good fight, then we are confident to say, like, you know what, we should start looking out for Wildfire Sphinx.
Yeah, but it is not the same Oasis that we saw in Open 4 who
Yeah.
went up against AEC in the grand final. I mean, two new
Yeah.
members here, they have to work out the way that they play, their play style, how do they integrate and it's also like a mixed team. It's Thai and Philippines. So
Yeah. Language
Polly
barrier
from
might always
KMO,
be.
yeah, exactly, and Canons from Meg, they are the two new members. It's not the same Oasis, which is maybe why we see them here at the lower bracket.
Yeah, definitely very like a big part of the reason possibly. I mean, they still put on a fight against Galaxy Racer, and that's still very impressive for sure, especially after having roster swaps. Maybe, we'll start to see something click and a bit of a honeymoon period thing can start happening for Oasis. But yeah, like I think that's definitely the big match to look out for tomorrow. Wildfire Sphinx, one of the new contenders here. If they can take down Oasis Gaming, yeah. I mean, I'm hyped to see that happen. I have hopes for that happening. But Oasis Gaming, I feel like the experience as well as like, they played so many FSLs before. I think that's probably going to pull through at the end of the day.
And that's not the only series that we're going to see. We'll also have our upper bracket
Yeah.
match. It's a rematch of the FSL Open 5 Grand Finals. AE Celeste going up against Galaxy Racer once again. I mean, that one is going to be spicy.
Yeah, that one is going to be good for sure. I think Galaxy Racer, they have been one of the teams that have been steadily improving the most. Celeste, I wouldn't say that they're not improving, right? Honestly, I would say that we just don't know because they just stomp everyone anyway. So are they improving? Are they stagnant? We can't really tell right now. Like, I think we'll have to wait until the other teams start getting closer to their level of play before we can really assess, like, okay, like, are Celeste improving and things like that. But for now, given Galaxy Racer's speed and rate of improvement, steady improvement, I would say that, every FSL that we go through, it's going to get closer and closer until maybe they are the teams that can match up. I'm not saying take down, I'm just saying match up against AECS. Yeah.
I mean, AE Celeste aren't even running duelists. Like, if you're going up
They don't need
against
to,
them
right?
now, like, what are you supposed to think? It's a tall order to try and prepare against them. But nonetheless, we will be seeing that semifinals tomorrow. So please return. Please come back to us. We're not done just yet. We will also see the winner of that series and who qualifies for the grand final first. So for now, we will be signing off. This is Omo. I'm Tanya May, and we will catch you tomorrow. So have a good night and take care.